All right, Julie, we are ready. We are live.
I don't see anything on YouTube.
It should be coming up. We're
There's
recording.
a delay, Jake.
We are.
I'm looking at it. It's live.
Okay. I think we're ready to go, world. Hey,
I don't see it.
Jake.
Jake, we're there.
Jake, we're here.
But here's the problem. Here's the
Jake.
problem.
The problem is Jake's muted.
Oh,
Gotta have faith. I think we're ready to go, world.
Just
What-
wait. Wait. You may be there, but I clicked on the link, the YouTube link that I gave everybody, and I don't see it.
But Jake, we're live.
All right, Julie, it's all you.
Okay, is everybody unmuted? I think we're ready to go. And welcome to the Global Innovation Field Trip, first of its kind. And we're excited to be here and thrilled that everybody around the world is joining us. We understand that we have 81 innovative presentations, 103 speakers over the next 24 hours from 15 different countries, and I guess about 20 countries watching today. So very excited to be here. I am Julie Shively from Innovation World. And I just wanted to say that I wanted to be a part of this so that a lot of things have happened this spring, not so many of them great things that have impacted innovators all across the world. I mean, there's a lot of students who worked really hard through the school year that now don't have a place to show the things that they've done. And this is my attempt to help facilitate that and to help get the word out about innovation in the K-12 space. And have a great team of folks to work with. Next, I'd like to introduce you to Daisha. Daisha, if you'd like to say a couple words about yourself.
sure. So I am Daisha Jones from Durham, North Carolina. My husband and I own our own company, Engage, Inspire, Expect, Inform, and we love traveling around the world, delivering STEM education to teachers and students. I love to stand in auditoriums and blow things up to get kids excited about innovation. I wanted to be part of this because I feel like we need to have everyone in the same room when we're talking about innovation and invention and makerspaces. So thank you so much for joining us today. It's going to be fantastic. Please understand this is our first event like this. So we're going to have a few hiccups, and that may include us talking like we're not supposed to be talking. I was just saying a few minutes ago, I'm not sure we're there, but we are. We're live on YouTube. We already have several people watching. So thank you so much for joining us. And we can't wait to have an amazing 24 hours together. I'm going to toss it now to Jake, my partner in Connecticut, who is amazing. And Jake, take it away.
Oh, well, the amazing person wasn't here, so I'll fill in for them instead. But thank you very much. Just real quickly, I started off originally as an engineer, and then realized I love showing students the things that I enjoyed doing as an engineer, and got into teaching, and then met up with this wonderful group of people, not only here on this tube right now, no offense to you, but all the other people who are going to be appearing over the next 24 hours. Fantastic teachers, educators, and incredible students around the world who are all doing innovative things and making the world a new and better and more exciting place to be. So I'm very happy to be here. And Daisha, when that really incredible person does show up, I will leave and let them take my spot.
Please do. Please do. Carmine, take it away. What tell us about yourself.
That's very easy for me. Hey, everyone, it's Carmine Didisco. I am from Inventors Launchpad. I am so thrilled to be here. This is such an awesome event. As soon as I heard about it, I was a little bit hesitant because it's 24 hours and I got to sleep at least 9 or 10. But because it's such an awesome event, I love it, love innovation, love working with young adults, seeing the excitement when they show me their inventions, their ideas, their prototypes. It is the coolest thing that I have ever felt. So I'm glad to be here. I can't wait to see what's going to happen. Julie, back to you.
Well, we have quite a lineup of visitors this next 24 hours. So while we're still awake and alert, I think our first visitor is waiting to be introduced.
Well, hang on, Julie. Let's
Daisha,
do a
yeah.
few housekeeping things first.
Oh, yeah.
So we want to make sure that we enjoy this all together. So you can chat in the YouTube chat. So if you're watching this on YouTube right now, I'm already chatting with people right now. Just throw your ideas up there, your comments, and let's talk together. If you are joining us as a panelist or an attendee, make sure you mute yourself. We are talking on chat here. If you have a question, just let us know. If you are a panelist, please do not take your camera to the bathroom. If you have to leave for some reason, do not take your camera to the bathroom. We are not that type of show. This is a kid-friendly family show. We want to encourage you that on the website, globalinnovationfieldtrip.org, you're going to find 2 journals that you can download for kids so they can take notes and decide which innovator they want to really follow on social media. We will also be sharing some challenges with you during this event, but you can find those challenges there. This is going to be one of those things that we learn as we grow, and we are just going to have a great time. Everyone else looks like they have a beautiful backdrop. My backdrop is a hotel room. I am in Schaumburg, Illinois. Running this. The front desk has been helping me. They're going to be sending up food every once in a while and sliding it under the door. But I just want to make sure we had all those little housekeeping things together. And we just to let you know, already on YouTube, we have people from Chile and Mexico and China. We have 2 from Indonesia. So we are having a great time here, and excellent. I'm going to turn it back to Carmine, who's going to introduce our first guest. And he looks like he is in a mall, but there's nobody there with him. So he's practicing social distancing.
Well, thanks, Daisha. Very cool. Well, our first guest, first person, first global innovation field trip presenter, Mr. Jim Bruner. Love it. He's coming in from Ohio. I'm going to unmute him. This guy is a serial inventor. He's been doing this for over 20 years. He loves working with young inventors. He's an adventurer. Take it away, Mr. Bruner.
Well, hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. I am exactly what you said. I absolutely love the human impulse to invent. Being a kid myself once, I spent a lot of time alone and unsupervised. So I invented my world. That's all literature is. That's all engineering is. That's all being an adult really is inventing yourself through time. And the instinct in a child and all of the kids and parents watching me is exactly what the world needs right now. We need to make a new way of thinking about ourselves and how we interact with the world. And Dacia, it's hilarious that you think I'm in a mall. I'm actually in a state-of-the-art research and development STEM learning prototype lab, but we're into social distancing right now, so it's just a background. If you want to see what my real background looks like, I can quickly show you. That's what it looks like, but this is where I live. So I'll stay here since the other one looks like an abandoned mall. So I live in Columbus, Ohio. I am an industrial designer by trade. So my instinct is to create things for use. And my specialty was designing for disassembly. And this was back in the last century, in 1980, because I saw ahead of schedule that the world was going to have a real problem with things. So it became very important to me to invent things that mattered. And in 2000, when I first met Julie and I go way back, I saw these young people who were looking at the world.
I was 9 then. I was 9 years old.
She was just a child herself, who just wanted to change the world. And they wanted to do it on their terms. And I absolutely fell in love with that. So for me, I'm of 2 minds. One of them is I want to support children who want to change the world. I also want adults to understand that kids have the power to change the world. You have permission. It is absolutely necessary for you to do this, and you have everything it takes to make this happen. You have kindness, you have empathy, you have knowledge, you care about people, and you want to be a better person and make the world a better place. That's all it requires. 2 hats. So back to my adult hat. And so what I do during the day is I am the Sultan of Systems at the PASS Foundation. And you ask, what's the Sultan of Systems? A Sultan of Systems is exactly what it sounds like. I make everything happen so other people can do amazing things. I love that I get to do that. I have 2 degrees, if degrees even matter anymore. One of them is in industrial design, which I told you about. My second one is in computer science and information technology. So the internet was my playground for 2 decades. It still is. But I saw that coming as well, and that people were hungry for the ability to express themselves the way they saw themselves, and they wanted other people to see them as they saw themselves. And that's really what the impulse to invent is about. Any kid, I don't care if you're a kindergartner or if you're in 12th grade or if you're my age, some undisclosed age above 45, you want to make the world a better place. And if you don't, then you might want to rethink your life. But most people want the world to be better. They want it to be better for them. They want it to be better for the world. And mostly, they want it to be better about the people they care about, mostly their family at that age. And I am absolutely shocked, constantly shocked by the level of imagination that comes out of these kids. And I'm sure Julia, Carmine, and Dacia can all agree with me on this point. One of the most fantastic inventions I've ever seen, I saw last year. It was a young 12-year-old boy who invented a series of, and he has patents, so I'm not betraying anything, a series of 5-gallon buckets. And in those 5-gallon buckets that stacked on top of each other, he had a solar panel for power. And then inside that, he had 3 hypersonic jewelry cleaners that your mom uses to clean her jewelry. And in the next bucket, he had UV lights, 3 of them, like you see at Kroger or any grocery store when you walk in, there are UV lights. And in the next bucket, the ultrasonic, and in the last bucket, UV. And what this was designed for, was designed to be shipped to his family in Bangalore, who have a real problem with fresh water. So he invented this system, which he calls the Ultra 2, ultrasonic, ultraviolet, and it sterilizes water in 5 minutes at 5-gallon increments. All because he cared about his cousin who contracted a deadly disease called cholera, which comes from human waste and gets in water, and it's extremely dangerous. And he came up with a solution. It doesn't have to be that level, but you do need to care. And you need the ability to ask yourself, what do I care about and why do I care about that? And then the third component that you need the ability to record what you care about and make it known to other people. This is what I was thinking. This is why I was thinking it. And this is what I intend to do. And as president of the Ohio Invention League and the Ohio Invention Convention, I've been pushing kids to do this for 20 years, because every time I see a 9-year-old child just slay with her empathy, compassion, and talent, it makes me want to be a better person. So for me, the 2 hats are about encouraging kids to own their power, their genius, and the ability to change the world through that. Encouraging adults to give them room to do it and listen, and then be inspired to do the same thing. Because all of us need to be world-changing advocates. We're at a time we've never been before globally. We have 3 climate or apocalypses, if you will, that's the wrong word, challenges. Climate change, we have technology advancement where we can't keep up with it, and we have income inequality where people don't have what they need. All three of those are impacting us simultaneously. And if ever we needed an entire generation of young people to step up and say, I have an answer for that, it's now. So that's why I agreed to be part of this. I'm super proud to be part of this. I believe in the power of children. I believe in the power of humanity, and I believe in my power to make that happen. So, I mean, that's what I believe, and I'm willing to stand for it.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you so much. That was awesome. I mean, we knew you would be the guy that should open this up. I mean, you've been doing this, you live it, you love it, and you know, got some great stories. If we could probably hear these stories for 24 hours. You've done so much, right?
Indeed. I've seen some amazing things.
No doubt about it. Hey, Julie or Daisha, any questions for Jim? Oh, let me unmute you, Daisha. Go ahead.
All right, so Jim, I want to come find you right now and let's have some conversations. It's really exciting to hear what you're doing.
Sure.
What I love about what you said is I hear the passion in your voice.
Yes.
So a lot of people can talk the talk, but it takes special people to walk their talk also. So I hear that passion. I myself am an innovator, an educator. I taught for 20 plus years and then moved into the director of science and curriculum specialist, and then decided that I wanted to work directly with teachers who would be able to impact students. So I thought for a moment I would be sad about that because I'd be leaving a classroom and I wouldn't have 25 students to be with. And then all of a sudden, I realized my reach has gotten greater. It's gotten exponential. And I think that's what's happening with you. Your reach is huge. And that just makes me so happy. Julie, I know that you are thinking right now that you're glad you hooked up with Jim when you were 9 years old, right?
Yes.
It was adorable at
Yes,
9.
I am. People question him about hooking up with a 9-year-old. No, I'm just kidding. Bad. Okay, so Jim is one of these people that I think for the first 5 or 6 years that I worked in the same environment with him, I didn't know him as anything other than who's the guy with the fedora who walks. He was at every program we had, always there and willing to be a judge and much more. So very, very proud when he became the board president for the Ohio Invention League, because he's the exact kind of person you need in a spot like that. I mean, he inspires youth in his everyday work at the Pass Foundation, and he just continues that same philosophy with everything he does with Invention League. So very happy you could be here today. Were you talking about Kenichi by any chance with the water purifier? Kenichi is one of our guests as well.
Oh, lovely.
You'll have to look at the schedule and see what time he
I
comes
will
on,
look at the
because
schedule. I will
you
be
gotta
there.
remember, and that way you can send in a whole bunch of YouTube questions for Kenichi too.
Listen to this child. He has it going on.
He does. He's really good.
And we are going to be talking to a lot of students today that are coming up with great ideas. They're sitting at home during this time of challenge and thinking, what can we do to save the world? So I'm sure that if they wanted to reach out to you or even share now, or Carmine too, how is that process? I mean, what do they do if they have these great ideas? What should they do first?
That's a great question. So they can follow me on Instagram at JSBruner, or they can reach out to me on LinkedIn, which I highly recommend. At LinkedIn, my user account is Jim Bruner, and just search for me. You'll find me. I'm always in a bow tie, a real bow tie, and I'm always in a fedora, and I can tie it in 20 seconds because I've been doing it my entire life. It is my brand.
No inventions for that.
No invention for that.
Hey,
So go ahead.
No. So Jim, and I know you do this. Is there any live events that you will be at that people can see you?
I generally don't. I stay behind the scenes and make things happen. As Sultan of Systems, right?
Yeah.
There are more live events coming. I don't know what they are, but I haven't actively pursued those because my passion lies with Invention Convention and at the Past Innovation Lab, where we develop programs for teachers, and now for teachers and educators and parents and kids at home all online in response to the COVID-19 crisis. That's what we do. PASS is an acronym, just so you know. It stands for Partnering Anthropology with Science and Technology. So anthropology is just a big Greek word. Anthro means people or culture. Pology means study. We study people. And kids, we study the way humans learn through play, because that's how all humans learn. That's how you learn to talk. That's how you learn to walk. That's how you learn to ride a bike. That's how you learn not to touch fire. You learn all those things by experimentation. So that's why invention and this whole process is so critical to me, because it is the fundamental way that we as humans interact with each other. We push, 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 and it breaks, and then we fix it, and then we do it again. So most of my work is done through the PASS Foundation, and I'm always behind the scenes because I make things happen.
Hey,
I'm the SWAT team.
Hey, Jim, over your years of doing this, we've all been doing this a long time. You've been doing it for over 20 years. We talked about when you first came on. What's the difference in types of inventions and types of worries and things that, because some of the inventions that when I speak with young adults, some of the inventions they create are things that they might be worried about or concerned about the environment, or maybe things their parents are experiencing. Have you seen a difference from your 20 years?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially in the last 7 years, I've seen a rapid uptake in app-derived inventions. Kids they live on the internet, they live on social media, they live on their phones. So they develop these apps that help them understand and control the world. They didn't grow up in the world that I grew in. That was what an information scientist calls analog, where everything you had to bring in yourself. You went to a library and you read books and you gathered knowledge. Now you have the sum total of human knowledge right there. And so it's different for them in that way. The second one, and it aligns very, very closely to the 3 crises I talked about. Technology, number 1. Number 2 is climate. Kids are really concerned about the world they're about to inherit, and they know it. They know it. They're inheriting a really sick planet, and they're very, very passionate about that. And then the third one that I mentioned had to do with the way that we interact with each other. They don't really understand the idea that every human has 3 facets to them. A facet is like a side to a geometric shape, like a diamond. The first facet is what they intend. And all our intentions are almost always noble and pure and good. Then there's the facet of their action, what they do. And then the last one, which most people never consider, is the impact. Oh, I didn't mean to hurt you. That doesn't matter. You hurt them. And a lot of the inventions have to do with the realization about compassion and empathy, that I had an intention, there was an action, that action's bad, and now I want to fix it. And that is a critical human skill in the 21st century. One of the top 5 for sure. Creativity, compassion, curiosity. People, the kids, they want to help. They don't want people to hurt. And I've seen a drastic increase in inventions on those 3 fields, to answer your question.
Awesome. It's so great. That's one of the great parts that we love to speak with veterans that have been doing this for a long time, because you've seen so many different things, so many inventions, but the kids, across the world, they're all worried. Seems like about the same thing, just in different ways. So, Jim, thank you so much for being on. If you'd like to stick around a little bit, I would love to get your input. We're going to throw it over to Jake Medelson, and we're going to hear what's going on for our next speaker. Jake, what's up, my friend?
Well, okay. Let's see how well I handle all this high-tech stuff, okay? So I'm going to explain a little bit about what's going on, but first let me try and share my screen. And let's see what happens if I...
So if there's an explosion or something, we know it didn't work.
You're good.
Okay, yeah, that part's good. Do you see Lord Inventions?
We see it.
Okay.
It's working.
Okay, great. Well, so far. Okay, so let me just back up for a second. the person who's giving this presentation is not me. This is Lord Christus Bodadang, and he is a young student in Ghana in West Africa. And unfortunately, they are having some internet issues, and he's not able to be with us live. But he has done so many things, and he was so excited. I said, try and put something together, and we will make it work. Just to show you what he has done, I'm going to be talking, and we have a whole show of things, but this whole presentation was put together with his cell phone, and he sent it to me in little pieces because he doesn't have internet connection, and he's sending it over, you know, through the text messaging on the cell phone. It was really took many days and weeks of trial and error and preparation to get all this together. So
That is fabulous.
And one of the things that you'll hear over and over again is that, you know, perseverance is the key to success no matter what you're trying to do. And Lord Christus certainly has that ability. So when I show you some of the things that he's done, I don't want you to think that he pulled a rabbit out of a hat. It's been a lot of hard work for him. Okay, so let's start the presentation. By the way, if I end up doing a very good job, thank you very much. And if I do a very bad job, please don't blame Lord Christus, okay?
My name is Lord Christus. I'm 16 years of age. I'm from Ghana and I am an inventor.
Could we hear that?
Yes.
Good.
Very loud, but it's good.
Okay, just checking on the technology. So this is where he lives. This is where he lives in West Africa. He does not live in a big, huge metropolitan city. And he is working on all kinds of inventions and creativity and doing things essentially with the support of some people, but he is isolated from large portions of what we consider the modern world, the century. He not only does inventions and creations and making, he's also a musician. I hope you heard the young woman make some comment. Evidently, as a musician, he's got groupies, which is great. Okay, but besides music, he's also interested in math. And he's been writing math papers on different types of organizations, and he's actually created some mathematical games. I'm sure he'd love to share them with you. And he has been talking to mathematicians and people involved in math around the world. On the right side of the screen, you're going to see some stuff. It was in, he's learning binary and hexadecimal mathematics, which is not something that they normally teach in high school in the United States, and not normally in Ghana either. But he has decided that this is something he wants to do, and he is just going out and doing it. He has created a website where he's posting stuff up there, and then he gets on his cell phone and he can watch it. It's not easy, but he has managed to do that. And that is his site. And of course, he's using some Lego robotics that he's managed to get a hold of. I think they have some with his school. And they've had different challenges. This particular robot is actually reading you see a piece of paper, and the robot is reading the commands on the piece of paper. There's a camera up here, and it's reading the piece of paper and then performing the commands that it has seen on the piece of paper. It's really quite sophisticated. For his school, he was given the opportunity to create a robot that came out and introduced the principle. And I'm sure that must have been exciting. I don't have a video on that. He is also just creating other things. Here's another one of his robot type of inventions. I'll be honest with you, I'm not quite sure what this thing did, but it's a model of some design that he was making. He's not just building things, he's actually designing things. And so here is a design. It's one of his projects that he's working on. And you can see he's got a lot of detail and a lot of thought went into this. He is also doing things in a little bit more format, so he does have access to a computer, and he's doing some CAD work and making some designs and making incredible things, just building stuff. Often when I ask him, what is it? He says, well, I don't quite know what it does, but it's exciting. And to me, that's the mark of a real innovator. Here are some of the things that he has done. Please do not ask me exactly what they are, but they do work. And it seems to have some sort of a speaker and a light. And it's one of his inventions, one of his things that he has built. Here is another one. And once again, I do not know exactly what this does, but you can see that the previous thing here is now embedded in this larger platform. It's off on the left. And oh, there it is. So that's one of the inventions. I'm sorry, I'm getting messages all over the place. And here is another design. One of the problems that he's having in his community is a lack of clean water. I think Jim had mentioned that water is a real issue around the world. And Chris has decided he was going to work on this. And this is a water filtration system that he has designed. And he's gotten into great detail on what he's going to be doing with this. And then he built it. And here is his water filtration system that he put together. And if it looks like it was cobbled together with parts that were lying around, it's because it was cobbled together with parts that were lying around. He doesn't have access to some of the resources that we might have in other countries. And so he took whatever he could find and took apart other things and made this particular water filtration system. And here is a close-up of it. And you see the famous hot glue gun, which every good inventor uses. And then here is a video of his filtration system. So one of his goals is to make the world a better place. And while getting access to clean water is an issue, is there some other problem that the world has right now? Oh yes, the coronavirus. So here is his next invention, his next creation to deal with the testing for the virus. And this is what he has created. And let's see some more information.
Hello, my name is Lord Christus. I'm here today to make a presentation of my invention for the Global Innovation Field Trip. This is actually a humanoid robot I made, and I named it Pandemic Action Box. It is a humanoid robot that will give you specific information concerning the virus to people, and also we're testing people of the virus using their temperature. It has been made to look interesting to get people's attention. Some people get closer to it and get to know what it's got to tell them. So let's see how it's going to work.
Okay, you have to forgive me. I forgot to read the introduction. So this is the Pandemic Action Bot. This is an AI robot which will speak to the public, give advice, and give information concerning the pandemic. In the case of nurses moving around testing people of the virus, which is bad, and can get the nurses also infected, this robot will move around while monitoring and testing people. Before testing, it will take a picture of the person, so that even if the person escapes, they will get caught. He is thinking of everything.
Jake, is this working also?
Oh, just
Oh.
wait. There's more. Oh, no, no.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wait.
Hello. So now we are going to see how it's going to talk to people.
Hello, my name is the pandemic action boss. I'm here today to speak to you concerning coronavirus. Okay, you've been told to avoid handshaking. Also, to avoid much contact with people. Okay, we know this disease started in China. Okay, let's think about this. We know how many miles and days compared with virus. Not days in the house, not how many miles. So today, I want to tell you guys, stop getting much contact with your ham animals. Stop getting much contact with your ham animals, your pets. Also, they can carry the virus. Thank you very much for your time. This is Gabby on the Pandemic Action Book. Bye-bye.
Okay, so now you're going to tell us that always you talk about you protecting yourself from this virus, then by isolating yourself from people and avoiding handshaking. But now he wants to tell us that we should also be very careful on how we relate to our dogs, how we relate to our cats, meaning our pets and our farm animals, because they also can carry the virus. So thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.
The audio is a little bit hard to, but it was done with his cell phone, so more information.
Okay, so now we're going to see how it's going to test people of the virus using the temperature. First of all, I have a cold water refrigerator and a warm water is heated. So these were the temperatures of human beings. Let's see how it's going to test the virus. First of all, I'm going to get this cold water close to it and see how it's going to be. Now, I'm seeing this indication because right now what I'm testing has a very lower temperature. For that matter, if you see the temperature of a human being, the person probably will be negative of the virus. So I'm going to take it back and test it. I've taken it backwards and I can't see any indication because right now there's nothing there to do. Next is the one more time hit it. I'm going to get it close to it and see it. Now, I am seeing this blinking indication because right now what I'm testing is a very high temperature. For that matter, if you to see the temperature of a human being, the person probably will be positive. But this point doesn't mean you are positive, but it means go for proper test. So I'm taking it backwards and I can see it. Now, this is how the pandemic action works and test people of the virus.
So this is actually quite sophisticated because his device is not only detecting that there is an object in front, but then it's also detecting the temperature of the object, whether it's a water bottle, which is at room temperature and is safe, or the other cup filled with tea. And there was a small light on the hand blinking. I don't know if you were able to see that. But he's detecting both the presence of an object and then the temperature of the object.
So now let's see how the various part of the work. First of all, let's see how the teeth is able to move up and down. The teeth is able to move up and down has a jaw mechanism which works with the piston. And so when the piston goes up, it takes it out. When the piston comes down, it brings it down. So it works like that. The second part is the speaking aspect, how it's able to speak to people. There is a speaker and an amplifier in it. And so when the sound comes out, the teeth also moves along with it, and that makes it very perfect. The next thing again is the temperature sensing part. How it's able to test people using the temperature. There was something I took out of an old refrigerator. I didn't even know the function of it. I got to know recently that it was temperature sensor when I was making this. Its function in that old refrigerator was that the refrigerator had two parts. The first part was to get water heated, and the second part was to get water cooled. And so you're supposed to turn it off or on when the temperature gets very high or gets very low. So in this case, I brought it here and built a very small circuit for it. And so you're supposed to turn on the red light when the temperature gets beyond 40 degrees Celsius, and supposed to turn on the blue light when the temperature falls below 35 degrees Celsius. So this is how it works. The next features that I hope to add to it is that I want to make it move, even by moving the cell, something to move along with it. The camera system, take a photo or the pictures before it tests you. But it's my cell phone I'm going to use for it, by the same cell phone I'm using for the video, and so that's quite difficult for now. That's how it works. Thank you.
This is a work in progress. He has a lot more to do, and he is going to keep working on this. I hope that the virus is going away, but if not, this will be great to know that there's something out there that's doing this automatic testing.
My name is Lord Christus. I am from Ghana. I attend a Pokwari school and I'm in grade 11. After school, I want to be an engineer working in the United States or China.
So that is Lord Christus, and that is what he is working on right now and working on lots of other things. So it's very exciting to see students like this around the world doing not just interesting things, but frankly, important and interesting things, making the world a better place. And that's where he's going to be going. So that's the news from Ghana.
Hey Jake, real quick.
Yes.
And so how did he reach out to you? I mean, he's got some high tech stuff.
Yeah, but see, that's the whole point. He just started Googling people and searching, and all of a sudden I got this text message saying, you know, hi, I'm a student in Ghana. Would you talk to me? I mean, that's what you have to do. He doesn't have resources nearby, so he literally went around the world looking for things and making stuff happen. You know,
Awesome.
it's you know, I'm going to get off on a tangent for a second, but one of the problems is we talk about being intelligent. You have to be smart. You have to be smart to get ahead. You have to be smart to get ahead. Being intelligent, being smart is good, but it's really not the secret to success. The secret to success is perseverance, never giving up, never stopping. And many years ago, I knew a woman who was a world-class pianist. She played the piano. She was world famous. She did concerts, incredible. And she had 2 pianos in her apartment in New York. And one was for the morning and one was for the afternoon. She practiced 8 hours a day, every single day. And I said to her, you're already world famous. What are you doing? And she said, you can't stop. You have to keep going. You never give up. And that's what it takes to be successful, no matter what you're trying to do. As an inventor or as a pianist or whatever it is that your goal is, you have to just keep going. And
Wow.
that's maybe one of the things that students will see in this program is not everyone who's done it smart and done it right because they're a genius, but people who just didn't give up and kept trying.
Wow. Just amazing. It's amazing. We're going to switch over to Daisha. Daisha,
Yep.
did you see that stuff, Daisha? Pretty wild.
It was absolutely crazy. I want to encourage you guys. I'm looking at YouTube right now, and the kids are talking about how in the world did he do this without the internet. And like Jake says, we need passionate inventors, not necessarily those with all the techno gadgets and robots. We need people to create. And this seems like a really great place for us to share our design challenges. On the website, globalinnovationfieldtrip.org, we have created challenges that you can participate in. So if you do not have your own idea, oops, we'll hang on for that for a second. If you do not have your own idea, you can create one. So here's one we'd like for you to think about and try.
Dr. Drizzle here. Our next challenge is a health challenge. Look around your neighborhood, your cities, your towns, your states, your countries. What's happening? How can you get involved to do something about the health of the people that you love? It could be a vaccine. It could be new medicine. It could be a new way of washing your hands. Maybe you want to come up with an idea that shows how school children can be healthier when we all start back to school in the fall. I don't have the ideas. You need to have them. Hashtag Global Innovation Field Trip. It's important, guys. This is all about our health, and I know you have people that you care about.
So I created this before I saw Lord Christus stuff, which makes me know that kids already have amazing ideas. They just need to act on them. I heard someone say last week on a podcast that the kids are our future. Well, I will disagree. I think kids are the present. And we don't need to wait till they grow up. These kids are beyond their years and they need to start sharing their challenges now, their innovations now. During this 24 hours, we will showcase challenges, but if you don't have an idea, but you want to be sparked by an idea, let me encourage you to look through some of these challenges, over 40 of them, and see if you can come up with ideas to go ahead and start changing the world. Carmine, you and I are getting older, as you said yesterday, and we need other people to start taking over and saving the world, right? We need people to start stepping up to the plate, if you will. And our first innovator, Lord Christus, has definitely done that. Let me read you a comment on the YouTube chat. We had someone ask, why can't he film all the clips he needs, burn it on a disk or hardware or hard drive and send it over here? Well, then we spoke back to him about the internet, and his thing was, oh my gosh, he did all of what he did with none of what I have. So a lot of kids have access, right? But many don't. So I would say, find your passion, go ahead and try to solve a problem that is affecting you or someone you love, and let the internet and the technology work itself out. And I'm sure they can find some people to share with over the next 24 hours on how you can create without all the bells and whistles.
Yeah, it's amazing. Sometimes, we take for granted being in one part of the world, one part of the country, wherever we are, that everyone in the world has access to what we have access to. And when we do something like this event, and that's one of the reasons I was so interested in it, we really get to see what's out there, what other people are working on and how they're working on. And sometimes the things that we think are insurmountable, that I can't overcome, become very, very small compared to what other people in the world are overcoming, right, Daisha? I mean, you've seen this. You've been doing this a while. It's pretty wild. And this is what we're going to do to introduce these type of things from people all over the world. And I think that's why this has garnered so much interest around the globe. I mean, we have hundreds and thousands of people that were interested in joining in, right?
Absolutely. We have quite a few watching right now on YouTube. We have attendees watching on here that are sort of sequestered in a waiting room that are watching. People are interested in this. They want to know what they can do. Now, kudos to the kids, and that's what we're really highlighting, but also kudos to the adults that are mentoring these kids. ABC Shark Tank is a real popular TV show, and we see a lot of inventors going on there every day and sharing their wares and asking for lots of money. But the ones I get really excited about are when kids go on there. So I'm going to give a shout out to Damon John and Barbara Kokorin that you need to be watching this right now, or watching the archives of this, because your next Shark Tank innovators are probably going to be filmed in the next 24 hours. So let's reach out to these kids. Let's help provide, the backing that these kids need. I would love to get Lord Christus some way where he can harness the sun during the day so he can keep his devices and lights running at night. So if someone's out there that has one of those soccer balls that captures the light during the day and wants to donate it, please, we want to help our innovators. There should be no reason why our kids can't change the world. Innovation should not have a poverty level here. It should not be a socioeconomic thing. Just because you don't have a lot doesn't mean that you can't contribute a lot.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was on my soapbox for a minute. If I'm watching people talking, they're interested in this. Like they want to know how they can do it next.
Yeah. Well, the great part about this, Daisha and Julie and Jake, is that anyone that's out there that's listening, if you need some help, I mean, you're going to meet some awesome people that we're going to be able to reach out to, or reach out to us, and we'll try to connect those people that can help. There's probably people around the world that are working on almost the same types of things, or trying to solve the same problems, but in different ways. And that's what's going to be so interesting as we progress through this. We're very very starting in this right now. We haven't even begun to scratch the surface of how much we're going to be presenting here. I do want to ask all the people that are presenting, everyone that's coming on board in the presentation platform, to make sure that it displays your correct name, so that we know not only that you're here, but that we know the time to give you active ability to start your presentation. So make sure that your name is correct when you come into the system. How do you think everything else is going, Dacia, so far?
I think it's going great. We have had a few people talk about they want us to stay on time, because they are showing up at times when they want to see people. And I know we started one a little early. So we're going to try to do that, boys and girls and adults that are watching around the world. But just be aware that this is the technology world. And sometimes we need a little bit more time to start something, or we may start a few minutes early, but we'll be very, very careful with that. I would encourage all those that are watching on YouTube to please like us on YouTube and subscribe to the channel, because we will be providing much more content, and we are going to archive all of this and put it up in playlists. And I would encourage all of my kids that are on YouTube right now to be kind and to watch where you are in your space. I've had to mute a few kids because they're just kids, right? But for today, we want to make sure that we're talking appropriately, and we're being very respectful to the people that we're watching and the people that we are communicating with. I don't want to have to delete you, but as a teacher and a mom, I will have to if we get a little risque in there. So just be careful of that. And also, Carmine, just remind them again, our web address will also include our email address, where you can reach out to us if you are interested in getting your innovation moved up the ladder somewhere. We don't have the key to the innovation gods, but we know them, and we can hook you up with people like Jim Bruner, who did an amazing idea. And we're already contacting Lord Christus right now to tell him how amazing his presentation was. So I think it's going pretty good. And yeah, I'm excited.
No, that's great. We're going to be queuing up our next presenter from Canada, Ruby Kaul. I hope I'm present her name correctly. And all of this information, or a lot of this information, also, Dacia, is on the Global Innovation Field Trip website. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Under presenters, you're going to find their information and what their topic is and what they're going to be presenting. I think, Carmine, do you have one of the intro videos queued up that we could play one of those right now?
I do.
Okay, why don't we do that? And Ruby, we're coming to you in just a few minutes. Keep that beautiful smile on your face. We can't wait to hear you. But let's show you a quick introduction video of several of our innovators.
I don't know if this is the right one. Oh, no, here we go.
Yeah.
Wow, it's amazing. You did a great job with these videos, Dacia.
Thank you very much. I'm excited to hear from our next presenter.
Yeah, so I'm going to start within just a minute. I'm going to read a little bit about our next presenter, and then we'll get her going. We might be able to ask her just a few questions before she starts her presentation, because we do want to kind of stay right on time, right, Dacia?
Yes, please.
Very good. And I'm reading this because we have a lot of presenters. There's no way I could memorize these things. But our next presenter is from Canada. The invention has the ability to sort garbage between garbage bins and recycling bins. As many people do not care for which box their garbage goes into, we have created a little platform for people to put their garbage in. Once it's placed there, a scanner will scan which garbage will go in the right bin. That's pretty cool. You know, we got a lot of products, a lot of things that are pro-environment, which is stuff that I love to hear about, love that I want to see. So let's bring our next presenter from Canada, Ruby Kaul. Hey, Ruby, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Hey, listen, did I pronounce your name correctly?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. So where in Canada are you from?
Ontario.
Oh, okay. That's pretty cool. How's the weather up there these days?
Yeah, it's okay. It's not the best, but it's not that cold.
That's good. How old are you?
I'm 12.
Oh, okay. Very cool. And do you have an invention type program at your school?
Not that I know of. I don't think so.
Wow. So how did you get into this invention biz? How'd you start this?
Well, it was like a dragon stand that we did at school, and then our teacher introduced us to this like thing, and then me and my partner Madeline Howell got interested and we wanted to do it.
Wow. Very cool. Now you have a partner in this. We're going to try to bring her on real quick. If she's
Okay.
listening, please. There she is. Let me unmute for her. Hi, Madeline. How are you?
Hi. Good.
Are you in the same area as Ruby?
Yeah.
Oh, very cool. So which one of you guys came up with this idea?
We came up with it together.
Yes.
Oh, very cool. It was for a contest or something in that sense?
It was just like for fun, sort of at school.
Oh, very good. That's cool. Do you have a lot of people like doing inventions at school?
Yeah.
That's great. That's awesome. Which one of you guys will be doing the presentation? Or both?
Both of us.
Both of us.
All right, cool. Well, who's going to start?
Madeline.
Ah, all right, Madeline. Well, you're on. Shoot. All right. We can see your screen.
No haste to waste. Our innovation is titled Eco Bins. It is a composition of 3 types of trash cans, which we hope will help with one of the issues in the waste management system. Many people are uncertain which bin their garbage goes into or are simply careless as to where their garbage ends up. When you take into account this and the fact that the average person produces more than 4 pounds or 1.8 kilograms of garbage every day, you can see that many problems could arise farther along in the waste management cycle. It makes recycling quite difficult when there are non-recyclable items mixed in with the recyclable ones, which is also a common issue in compost and garbage. Because of this, people are paid to manually sort others' waste by hand. This is why we decide to create eco bins. Our innovation is able to help sort different types of waste into their proper bins.
This inventive product has a combination of compost, recycling, and garbage. Each bin is connected with a long opening in the top where people put their waste. There's a panel that covers that hole entirely that is attached to a motor. That motor is also connected to a sensor, which can detect what bin the waste would go in. The sensor would scan the object that is on the panel and determine which trash bin it should go into by scanning the size, shape, and material. It then sends a signal to the motor, telling it in which direction to turn the panel to put the waste in the right bin. An example could be if you had a piece of paper, you would place it on the panel, then the sensor would scan the material, size, and/or shape. Once it has determined what bin it should go into, in this case the recycling, the motor will turn towards the recycling bin. Recognize that all the bins are connected. Currently, our model is programmed to sense colors, but obviously in the legitimate product, the sensor will be programmed to sense the color, shape, and size to accurately determine the material. Here's a video of our model in operation.
Whoa, awesome.
Nice.
That is cool.
The bins are made out of a strong, weather-resistant plastic. The panels, motors, and sensors are made mainly from metal and should ensure that the product is waterproof as well. The dimensions are 110 centimeters by 110 centimeters by 40 centimeters. The original bins come in the colors black, blue, and green, corresponding with the kind of waste that each bin contains. But you can also get customized bins with any pattern or design.
If we were to create our own company and this product being used in the future, we would see our product in a couple of years being more and more innovated. With the new advanced technology being produced, this could become an even more efficient product. We are hoping that this product would replace traditional garbage bins currently used and create a greener future for everyone.
Our country, Canada, is the top producer of waste in the entire world. This caught our attention immediately, and we knew we want to see change. If we need to be the ones to start it. Be the change you want to see in the world. 91% of recyclable materials aren't actually recycled. With our product, we could lessen this number and help reduce the amount of waste thrown in landfills and dumped in our oceans. To fix a problem, you have to get to the root of it. You aren't going to fix the problem of plastic pollution just by picking it all up. All of these little consequences can become one big consequence in the future.
This innovation would be great for public places such as parks, malls, or even schools. We measured the right height so that the top of the bins are reachable and accessible to most people. The government has to compensate people to sort trash by hand, which isn't always reliable, with mistakes easily made. Of course, the prototype we have designed is not using the exact materials, as that sort of technology is not available to us. But if this idea were to be used, it would certainly include the advanced technology needed. Each year, the entire world creates about 300 million tons of plastic. With the EcoBin, we can make one small step towards the future of sustainable recycling and waste management.
Thank you for listening to our presentation.
Wow,
Oh my
that was
gosh.
cool. That was cool, right, Daisha?
Let me just share a few things from YouTube, the chat that's going on. Kids are really excited about this. They're giving you thumbs up, they're clapping, they're saying, how in the world did you come up with this idea? Did you start innovating when you were young? I mean, so many questions. When did these ideas start coming to you?
It just came like naturally. Like we're kind of like very like passionate about the environment and like to help out as much as we can, and we just created this idea basically.
Wow. Very cool. Hey, listen, you guys mentioned earlier in the presentation that Canada was one of the top producers of this waste. I mean, is that true? I mean, Canada is a very big country, but that's a pretty big statement. Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing, right? I never would have thought that.
Well, and kudos to you guys for being, I don't want to say young, because I'm not trying to say that you're too young, but being your age and caring so much about this. Why do you care so much about the environment?
Madeline? Well, I don't know. It's just, to make like a better environment for everybody, and so that everything like is lasting longer and stuff, because in the future, like things are going to change, like some things will not be available to us. So we might want to make little changes to help the environment and keep it like fresh, I guess.
My mom also really enjoys the environment, so I was raised to also like the environment. And she's a teacher, and she teaches natural disasters, so I kind of like know a lot of the environment, about the environment.
So you sort of grew up with that. And you guys, I'm sure, want to have families when you get older, right? And you want your kids to enjoy things, and you're doing your work to save it right now. I am so impressed. I would encourage Philippe Cousteau and Greta Thunberg, people that are watching right now that are passionate about the environment, to reach out to these kids. We're going to be able, hey, by the way, is it okay if we hook you up with some famous people that can help you out with your innovations?
Sure.
Sure. So again, if you're watching, and when we send this to people to watch, these are some kids you need to be looking at, creating these eco bins. I'm just very excited about this.
Yeah, very cool.
Thank you.
Stuff. Hey, listen, so you guys are working on this, and I know you're talking the presentation. what problems did you run into as you're doing this? Because we're seeing kind of like that prototype, that finished product, but how long did it take you to get to this? And what kind of problems were you running into while you were doing it?
Well, it did take us a while to do this, and there was a lot of problems that came, like the sensor. Like currently, we said our sensor only does it by color, like senses color, but sometimes like the technology wouldn't work as well. But of course, if we had the advanced technology, it would be a lot more easier like that. But
No, there's no doubt about it. What do you guys need? If I could get you guys something that you need, what would your next step be?
Like getting more advanced sensors and maybe creating better programming to like, I don't know, like scan the material better to figure out what bin it should go into.
yeah.
So electronics, do you guys do any of the coding? Do you have people that are helping you with the electronics?
Yeah.
That's great. Is people from your school doing this, or how are your teachers helping out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. That's great, right, Daisha? I mean, that's one of the biggest things we notice.
Yeah. Do you have a teacher that you want to give a shout out while we're here?
Sure. Our teacher from Aldershot High School, Madame Lally, she even like brought up this project to us and gave us this opportunity to do it.
She's
Very
actually
cool.
on YouTube right now, and she's saying that she is very proud of you girls. She is saying how proud she is. Has big smiley faces on her comments. As a teacher myself, I know that once our kids go out into the world and do amazing things, that's exactly what we train for all our lives. So thanks for giving a shout out.
Awesome stuff. So got a couple more minutes, guys. Do you have any other inventions or any other ideas that you're going to bring to market or next after this?
Actually, we just finished competing in the BASF. It's like a science fair. And we did that online. And we did it about permeable roads.
Yeah.
What the heck? Here's a whole new thing, Daisy. Do you believe this? It's like it's nothing.
What is that?
Well,
You have a few minutes that you can.
Well, well, we tested. We got certain materials and we tested them by seeing the water flow, like how long it took for the water to go through, and we put like a whole like abstract and stuff about it, and yeah, it was like a whole bunch of like graphs and stuff, and it was part of the science fair. So yeah.
So this is a type of material road that the water just runs through it.
Yeah, to prevent floods and safer roads for everyone too. Like another thing, like we like helping the environment. So
Holy smokes, you could have opened with that one. That's a great idea too. Yeah, very cool. And that was, did you guys see any inventions when you were competing online that were close to either of what you're doing?
not really,
We haven't really looked at the other things yet.
but they were more like they were more not really like for roads, but like there was technology ones and like building, construction, like that.
All right. Well, great. Hey, Jason, you getting any questions on YouTube, or we're going to hang it up?
Some more. The Past Foundation says that permeable roads are the future. That's what we need. I do want to share real quickly, our next event is July the 9th. And one of our challenges is we're asking for people or kids to sign up to be host for our next event. So we have created something called the Student Host Challenge. I'm going to share my screen real quick, if that's okay.
Yeah, it's great.
Pull that up very quickly. We want kids around the world to send us a video of themselves speaking on something that they're very passionate about. And we will be using those videos to decide who we're going to choose for our next guest student host. So we're actually, well, I'll just let this person tell you about it.
Dr. Drizzle, and I'm back again with the Mount Everest STEM Challenge.
Have you ever climbed a mountain before?
Well, so that's the wrong challenge. So let me just get off of that for just a moment. But this challenge is where we want you to film a 1 to 2 minute video speaking about something that you're passionate about, and maybe even talking to someone while you're speaking, and then send that to us. And we're going to choose several hosts or several student videos to be guest hosts, where you can wear the cool headphones and you'll have a little name beside you that says you are the host. We're going to ask that you email those to us at globalinnovationfieldtrip@gmail.com. The winning entries will be selected, and you will help host the next upcoming Global Innovation Field Trip. So girls, I'm hoping that you guys can get together and do that challenge so you can be some of our hosts next time.
Hey, host, what about us? What's going to happen to us, Dacia?
Well, we're all right, but we're not the best in the world. So we need a few people to come up and help us. So we'll still hang with them. But yeah.
Awesome. Well, listen, Ruby and Madeline, thank you so much for coming on. Awesome idea. You can hang out a little bit if you would like, either way, but great. I appreciate you guys coming on, giving us some time to tell us about your idea, your inventions, and how you're trying to change the world. Awesome idea. We're going to bring on our next guest. I'm going to read a little bit about our next presenter, and then hopefully we'll bring her on.
Thanks, Ruby. Thanks, Madeline. You guys are wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
So, Dacia, our next presenter is from the U.S. Is from Connecticut.
Yes, I'm assuming maybe lives near Jake. I don't know, but we won't hold that against her if she does.
No, we won't. So she's from Talcott Mountain Academy, a small independent school for gifted students, conducts a school-wide science and invention fair each year. All students in grades kindergarten through 8th participate as it's part of their science technology curriculum. Expectations and procedures are modified by grade level. This presentation will be a brief overview of the objectives, logistics, and outcomes of the program. Man, this is tough for me to read. Talcott Mountain Academy students have won awards locally, statewide, and nationally. This is going to sound pretty cool stuff. So we are going to bring on our next presenter, Miss Lydia Gibb. Lydia, how you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Yeah, I'll change that, but you go right ahead.
Yeah, I have no idea why I'm coming up as Jake. That's never happened before.
He does that on purpose. He likes his name to be everywhere.
Well, thank you for that introduction. I'm going to share my screen here, and it's very exciting to be part of this first Global Innovation Field Trip. And I'm happy that we have several students and a teacher who's going to be presenting today. So I'm just going to play this PowerPoint, if you can see that. We are a small school on the top of a mountain. Well, it's a hill compared to the rest of the world. We're just under 1,000 feet above sea level here. And we're a school for gifted students. And everyone in the school participates, kindergarten through 8th grade, which is kind of amazing. They can choose either a science project that they want to do, or they can do an invention. So they ask a question that they can solve by doing experiments, or they come up with a problem that they can solve by making an invention. So it's very hands-on, very inquiry-based. It's not a report format. So one of the keys to doing a good program, we think, is that every student has a mentor. So for the younger kids, the classroom teachers are their mentors. And for kindergarten, 1st grade, the whole class does a project together. 2nd or 3rd grade, they choose individual experiments, but the whole class does the experiment along with the student. So they collect all their data and information at once, or they test their invention all at once. And then in 4th grade and 5th grade, they start really independent projects on their own, but still with their classroom teacher as a mentor. For our older kids, the middle school, 6th to 8th grade, we assign them a variety of teachers from the school. The math teacher, the technology teacher, all the science teachers get involved. We're kind of unique in that we are part of a science center, the Talcott Mountain Science Center. So we have STEM resources, be it people or equipment at our disposal. This is our K1 class a couple of years ago. So you can see they go through the process of inventing and science projects. So they understand the critical and creative thinking that's involved. We do allow time during the school day for these projects. They're not done at home. We think it's important that it's part of the curriculum. So they do it during a special time called enrichment, which is an hour and a half every Wednesday during the winter months. And they also do it in their science classrooms. And doing it at school also ensures that the projects are done by the students and that the students have equal access to materials and that enough time is also spent on the projects. So when we first started the inventing process as compared to science, one of the reasons that we looked at it was because in Connecticut, the Connecticut Science Fair doesn't start till 7th grade. So after our school fair, there's no place for the younger kids to go with their projects. So the invention convention in Connecticut starts at kindergarten. So we thought, well, that's really cool. The kids can go on with their projects then. And then we started comparing what are the processes, the creative thinking, the critical thinking, the problem solving that's involved. And we compared them side by side. And the process is very similar doing an invention versus a science experiment. And we really like that. So the first thing was pose a problem. So each of our students comes up with a problem that they want to solve. And they brainstorm with other kids how to solve the problem and their teachers. We also use brainstorming and coming up with ideas. Sometimes that's the toughest thing to do is come up with the idea to begin with. So we teach brainstorming, and then we have the students actually write out a proposal. No matter how old they are, they have to clearly identify what they're thinking, and that helps them refine the project. So it makes them think more clearly. It has mentors to review it. So make sure it's within the scope of the kid's ability, and also that it's not too big of a project to tackle. And it's also, of course, reviewed for safety, which is a big part of it. And then they research what materials are they going to need. The Connecticut Science Fair has a $50 limit, so they look online for what they can get, what they need. They borrow things. They can go to the thrift shop or even the landfill to find what they need for their projects. And then they make a schematic diagram for the design of their invention, or if it's like this one, it's an app, they do a kind of a flow chart or diagram to help them. And then they start building. One thing that's been very popular in our school is building with the 3D printers. So they love to design and build their products out of that, but it doesn't have to be that fancy. They can use whatever materials they have available. And then they test and revise again. This student started her project to make cool earmuffs because when her ears got hot, she had no way of cooling them down. And this is this year's project. And her first project or design had Ziploc baggies and they leaked. And when she put the water in the baggies in the freezer to cool them down, they were hard blocks and that didn't feel good on her ears. So she figured out if she combined rubbing alcohol and water, then it would make a slush, but she had to research how much water, how much alcohol. And then she ended up putting them in balloons and tied them off so they didn't leak. So there was a lot of problem solving that goes on. This student's market research was unique. So a lot of kids, they do market research where they find out, would you use this product? How much would you pay for the product? But this student actually made a glove for dampening, quantifying, and recording tremors in patients like Parkinson's patients. And then she went to a class, it was actually an exercise class for Parkinson's patients, and tried it out with them and was able to get some real market research from that. And then the students present their invention. So we feel that communicating is a very important part of the process. This person that the student's talking with is an actual inventor, has several patents to his name, and has some new products in the work. So it's very good for our kids to be able to present their ideas to others. And the younger kids present their ideas to the older kids. The classroom teachers evaluate the projects with a rubric, but our older kids provide feedback to the younger kids on their projects, and the younger kids get to look at the older kids' projects. So we have the fair, and 6th through 8th grade is judged by community people in the in different industries. We have doctors, we have engineers, inventors, all sorts of people that we invite in to judge, and they choose the first, second, and third place winners for each grade level. And this is the criteria we use. Its inventions are very similar to the science experiments, and that's how they're judged. There's a little more information that goes along with that, but we do try to rank them for competition purposes. And then our students who win our fair go on to the Connecticut Invention Convention. This is one of this year's projects. It's a sensory stick, so it can come apart and then back together, and you can turn it, and it helps to help kids who experience frustration or even anger, and they can work it out on using that toy. And then those who win the Connecticut Invention go on to the National Invention Convention and Entrepreneurship Expo. These are two students 2 or 3 years ago. The girl won Best Project in the United States for 8th grade, and the boy won the patent award, and his product is now patented for testing deer tick for the Lyme disease. So that was a really current project and a very important thing in Connecticut anyway. And then this year, for the first time, we participated in Invent Future Global. We were real excited to go international. And I think we had 4 students help out with the tests of that. So we were really excited about that and excited to be part of this field trip. So that was a really quick overview. I went pretty fast, but if you have any questions, comments, or want to collaborate, I've included my email here, and would love to talk with other educators around the globe to see how they're doing inventions and invention fairs like ours. Thank you.
Very cool.
Lydia, wow. I love that you included your email. Let me tell you why. So we want to feature the kids on this show, right? We really want to show what they're doing. We want to honor the teachers that are mentoring and allowing these opportunities to happen. But my passion is then to hook these teachers up with other teachers from around the world, so you have a sounding board. You know, we always talk about the most robust conversations happen when there are more people in the room. So I love that you've listed your email, that you're asking for people to reach out to you, not just to hear what you're doing, but for you to hear what they're doing. We are in charge of the kids of the world. That is what we've been given as a task. So thank you so much for offering yourself up to other teachers.
Well, you're welcome. And I'm just always amazed at what the children come up with. And we're such a small school. So for our kids to be able to take these on to the state and national, now international, I think it's probably one of the biggest things that we can do for the kids is allow them the time and the freedom to think creatively, to think inventively. You know, so much of our time in school is always, you know, program this subject and that subject. And I think it's really important to encourage that inventive thinking and allot time for it within the school day.
Hey, Lydia, real quick. So tell us a little about the school. Like, when did it get started? How did it get started? Why?
Okay, well, the school started in 1983 as part of the Talcott Mountain Science Center, which started in 1967 as part of a government grant for STEM education. But the school grew out of our Saturday program. We've always had programs for gifted students on Saturdays. And at the time, the state of Connecticut had money to pay for gifted programs. So they were sending their kids to us on Saturdays. And we said, these kids aren't just gifted on Saturdays and not just in science and math. So that's why we started the school, and it's just been a joy to have kids who are excited and interested in learning, and just, these are the kids that drive you crazy with all the questions, and that's what we love.
Yeah, it's you could tell just in the pictures and things that you said. I mean, they really enjoy showing off their idea. It's one of the things that got me.
Absolutely.
Lydia, a question on YouTube, they ask, were these kids at the National International Convention in Dearborn?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we've sent probably anywhere from 4 to 6 students each year. And I think the first year was actually in Maryland that they had the nationals. And of course, boy, going back probably 25 or 30 years, there was a National Invention Convention that was part of the National Association for Gifted.
Wow. Hey, Lydia, how did the Science Center itself get started?
It was started through a government grant program for STEM education and research, actually, back in the late 60s. And there were, I'm not sure, there were several grants in Connecticut, and we're one of the few that are still around providing regional science education for public schools, private schools, the general public. We have speaker programs, we have summer programs, Saturday programs, just really trying to increase science literacy for all people.
Wow. Some great stuff. I love seeing this stuff, right, Dacia?
Oh, it's amazing.
Really is. Really is.
Thank you.
Well, Lydia, thank you so much. We truly appreciate you not only telling us about what you're up to, but all the time that you give and all the things that you're doing. We really appreciate it. Anybody that's out there that needs some help, reach on out to Lydia. If you didn't catch the information or contact information, it will be on the Global Innovation Field Trip website.
Yes.
All of this information, as Dacia, my brain is going crazy because I'm trying to think about the next presenter, what we got to do. It's just so much information, so great. But it'll all be on the website. We'll be putting it out there. If for some reason you don't get it, catch it here, let us know or contact us, and we'll make sure you hook up with the person you need to get the information from. Right, Dacia? This is some crazy stuff. It's awesome.
Thanks, Lydia.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lydia. Okay, so Dacia, we got our next guest coming up. All right, this is getting.
I see her. Rachel is sitting right there.
Yeah. I'm gonna change up her name, but I'm gonna read a little bit about her and then bring her on. I think we're almost right on time. It's pretty scary.
It is. I'm gonna change. Alba, if that's you, will you wave at me? Okay, good. I'm gonna change her name. You go ahead.
While you're doing that, I'm gonna read what we got going on. So our next presenters are also from Canada. We got some great presenters these days, and they have an invention called the Zen Box, I believe. It's a personalized box that adheres to all senses and provides mindfulness and relieves stress. We need that right now. I mean, this is driving me crazy. This is awesome. So I will bring on Rachel Bresnahan and Alba Karadagi. But if I'm pronouncing it wrong, I want you guys, when you come on, to tell us what your name is. Okay, you guys go first. Alba, was I pronouncing your name wrong?
You pronounced my name wrong. Yeah, it's Karadagi.
Very good, very good. And Rachel, was I pronouncing your name correctly or no?
I think you pronounced it right. I don't know. My computer has a little bit of like.
That's okay.
I can't exactly hear, but I think you pronounced it right.
No problem. Sorry about that. So you guys have a little presentation for us. Who's gonna be doing it? Both of you?
Yeah. I have actually a website that I'm gonna be sharing. So
Okay. You just go right ahead whenever you're ready.
Okay.
Wow. They have a website.
That's fancier than ours.
Okay. So mood and anxiety disorders are among the most common types of mental disorders in Canada and have been shown to have a significant impact on the daily lives of those affected. Living in today's modern world can often make us extremely anxious and agitated, making our day-to-day lives very stressful. In 2013, an estimated 3 million Canadians aged 18 years or older reported that they had a mood or anxiety disorder. More than a quarter said that their disorders affected their life extremely in the previous 12 months. Necessary activities and the ability to work are challenging for many. We believe that sometimes everyone needs a break from the fast-paced environment we live in. That's why we created the Zen Box. The Zen Box is portable, organized, and efficient so that you can be calm wherever you are. For an easier way to de-stress, we have included 2 slimes, 2 essential oils, 2 fidget toys, 2 squishies, a notepad, 1 pen, 1 pencil, 1 eraser, 1 pencil sharpener, snack, and a link to our calming spot hybrids. While making the Zen Box, we kept in mind all 5 senses to provide sensory stimulation. Although we can all agree that a beach vacation would be the ideal place to stress less, you can bring that feeling of freedom to life wherever you are by engaging your senses. We take our senses for granted for day to day because we get wrapped up in multitasking and sensory overload. but your senses can be stress-busting saviors when you spend the time to focus on them individually.
For the sense of sight, visual-based activities tend to be soothing and uplifting as they bring your mind to the place. For the sense of sound, try listening to nature sounds or calming music can often be an excellent grounding exercise. Try to focus on specific parts of the music to help calm down. The sense of smell, aromatherapy can reduce the perception of stress and increase contentment and decrease levels of cortisol known as the stress hormone. For the sense of touch, playing with fidget toys that stimulate touch, such as slime or stress balls, can be a great distraction as a stress reliever. And finally, for the sense of taste, mindfully indulging your senses of taste can help focus your stress elsewhere.
Hey, Rachel, real quick. Next time, if you go next time, maybe you could just talk a little bit louder.
Okay, sorry.
Go ahead, Alba. Sorry.
The Zen Box is designed for everyone. We believe that everyone's life can get a little hectic from time to time. De-stressing has been proven to be quite useful in our daily lives. Studies conducted to establish how stress affects the performance of college students have convincingly shown that while low levels of stress can improve concentration for short periods of time, too much stress can affect people negatively. The Zen Box can be useful for people with mental illnesses that require sensory stimulation, such as ADHD, ADD, and autism.
One of the many reasons why Zen Box is excellent is because of the refills. Zen Box comes with a monthly subscription, so you can receive more Zen when you need it. This subscription can refill everything in the box completely. It is easy and is available to cancel anytime. Our standard boxes include 7 items and cost $35 to purchase. The mini box comes with 5 things, and the large box comes with 9.
On our website, you'll see that you can order 2 types of boxes, a standard box or a personalized box. The standard box comes with pre-selected products, whereas you can select each item that comes in your customized box. Depending on the products you choose, the size, and the color of the price can range from $20 to $45. We decided to make this option so that you can use it to its full potential.
We use recycled and ecological packaging. The boxes and even some of the products are made of recycled materials. The slime packaging is recycled. The boxes are reused, and the dividers are also recycled.
We've created an online store for ease of access. By using a website to showcase our product, we'll be able to provide better service all around the world. After all, when the world is continuously changing, you'll need a product that can stick around with you.
Can I have one?
Yes, you have a question.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Daisha.
I'm just excited to order one of these in every color and in every Zen.
Wow.
So on our website, we have some pictures of the box that we actually made.
Oops. We also have a few of the boxes right here beside you.
Yeah. So you can actually change the interior color and the exterior color. And yeah.
Wow.
So this is what a standard box looks like. And this is what the mini box looks like.
Oh. Wow. That's a lot of optional stuff you guys got. Pretty cool.
Thank you.
Very cool. So is this actually a live site where people can order things, or kind of just to show what you can do with what you have?
Well, if we were to buy a domain, we'd be able to convert it into like a live site immediately. So people can visit our website right now and look at our product. They just can't buy it.
Oh, cool. I'm looking at the stuff you could put in. It's 2 slimes, fidget spinners. Those are pretty cool stuff. My daughter would want to order.
Yeah, so that's actually our standard box. So you can't really customize the products that comes in that one. But with our custom box, you can choose the products, the size, and the colors.
Cool.
Who's doing your website coding? This is awesome too.
That's me. I did the website.
All right. Very, very cool stuff. Daisha, you want a Zen box?
I would like a few, please. I think they would be very nice. Girls, I love the way you're thinking about the social and emotional learning of people. Right now, during the pandemic, a lot of people are struggling with the normal Like there is no normal now, and they need things. Adults are struggling with this pandemic, and I love that you're thinking about how to take care of people's hearts and minds. So very good job with that.
Yeah. So actually, I have a sister who has anxiety, and often in public, if she gets stressed, using fidget toys or like stress balls can actually help her a lot. So we were kind of inspired by that to create something that perhaps you can take to school or to work and use discreetly when you are stressed or anxious.
I know that my grandson loves the squishies. I buy those by the box load from Amazon. I would much rather buy them from people like you and Rachel, who are trying to change the world one Zen box at a time.
So how far along are you guys with this? Is it something that you want to start selling? Are you still developing the idea? How far along are you?
I'd say that we're like 2/3 of the way done with developing the idea. So we have to like work out some of the kinks with the boxes and get like a better estimate on the price and like the worth. We have actually the estimated price, how much it costs to make, how much like materials we'd need for the standard box. And the custom Zen box, it's a little trickier because we have to take into account the cost of each product that the person would like and the size and the manufacturing cost.
Wow. Very cool. Very cool. Okay, good. So one other question is, have you presented this before? Is this the first time you're showing it, or other people's looking and seeing it?
We presented it to our class because we actually go to the same school as the last presenters, Ruby and Madeline. We're in the same class. So this actually started out as a school project, and we presented it to the class, but we kind of developed it, and we really wanted to showcase our idea because we were really proud of it. So yeah, now we're here.
Wow. Yeah, well, we're really proud too, right, Daisha? This is pretty cool stuff.
It is. And I would just encourage you to keep working hard and keep reaching out to people. There are probably investors out there that are looking to give their money to young inventors, young female inventors who are trying to change the world. So we will help you with that. We will tweet you out and get you on social media. But thanks so much for all you're doing to try to help us with our, like I said, our social and emotional health. We all need it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you unshare your screen, Alba?
Yeah.
There you go. Very cool. Yeah.
Mhm.
I was. So, do you have any? Did you get any questions there on YouTube, or we kind of covered them all, Daisha?
Well, we did have a shout out to the Learning Partnership. Do you work with the Learning Partnership, girls?
No.
Who are your teachers that we want to shout out to?
We're in the same class as Ruby and Madeline, so we'd like to shout out Madame Lally.
Yep. Anna Marie Lally is on YouTube right now, and she's talking about projects in class and how proud she is of you girls. That's one proud teacher. She can't get to you right now because we're socially distancing, but I'm sure the hug's coming soon.
Very good. Thank you guys so much for being on. I love the idea, love the presentation. Very cool stuff. You guys did a great job. Keep it going. If you ever need anything, reach out to us. We'll try to help out as much as possible. I know Daisha's got some great contacts in the retail area.
Girls.
All right, Daisha.
Can we do a quick commercial?
Yeah, let's do one, and I'll set up for the next presenter.
All right. Well, again, we are working on getting our STEM commercials out there. So this next one is a problem that we're having on Mount Everest, and we would love some help with this.
Dr. Drizzle, and I'm back again with the Mount Everest STEM Challenge. Have you ever climbed a mountain before? I have, and it takes a lot of energy. The tallest mountain in the world is Mount Everest, 29,029 feet. Now, it's a lot of fun to climb these mountains, but we don't want to get up there and find a lot of waste everywhere. And that's a problem right now that people are having when they climb Mount Everest? Human waste, ugh, and regular waste. So what can we do as a community to fix that problem? Can you create something? Can you design a machine that will move it back down the mountain? I don't know. You're the experts in this. I plan to climb that mountain soon. I don't want to go up there if it's dirty. How can you help? Mount Everest STEM Challenge. Hashtag Global Innovation Field Trip. Happy climbing.
So let me unshare for a moment. Again, we have over 40 of these STEM challenges. We need kids to start solving our problems for us. And it looks like we're getting ready to find someone else that's going to solve some problems or already has solved the problem, Carmine.
Very cool. Unbelievable. Awesome stuff. We have our next presenters, and I think they're going to be coming on in a couple seconds. I think they're both showing up. And let's see where they're from. They're from the Connecticut, United States, for any of you characters out there in the rest of the world. Oh no, what am I saying? They're from, they're from Ohio. Sorry, I'm getting a little discombobulated here. And their invention is the Recycle Buddy. We've got a lot of stuff recycling, right, Daisha?
A lot, which means they really care about the environment.
Yeah. So the Recycle Buddy is an arm that attaches to outside of the recycling dumpster that makes it easier to open and hold the lid. It ultimately makes recycling easier for all. Let me see if we have somebody on. Hey, is this Ella or Amelia? Can you hear me?
Oh, hello. Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Let's see. Ella, we don't have your sound. We see your mouth moving.
Let me see if they're mute. They're not muted.
That's not them. No, our video's not on. It says the host has to take our video off.
All right, we're trying that right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Hello. Hi.
There you are. So we have it on the wrong one. So Carmine, if you can change these two young ladies to Ella and Amelia, they are the Recycle Buddies, and we'll hold off on this other one because I recognize you for the video that I created.
That's right.
Girls, it's nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Excellent.
Got it.
Well, I already know what you've done, and I can't wait to hear more about it.
Very cool. So real quick, I guess you guys are up in this says here you're up in Ohio. I think we have already spoken to you about it. Have you guys talked about your project to anybody else since you spoke with us?
Yeah, we did our pitch video and then we did the podcast.
Yeah, that's really cool stuff. All right, well, you guys go right ahead and we are listening.
Okay. So hi, I'm Ella Barn. And I'm Amelia Barn, and we're from Wadsworth, Ohio. And our invention is the Recycle Buddy. Do you ever struggle holding the dumpster lid open high enough to put your stuff in? We do. That's why we invented the Recycle Buddy. Our aha moment was when we realized that our mom was struggling each week to put the recycling in the recycling dumpsters while holding the lid up with one hand. We realized this product was needed every time we would take our recyclings to the recycling dumpster. It was hard for us to hold up the lid and put our stuff in at the same time, especially for older folks, shorter people, and handicapped. This product will benefit all. Our invention is important because it'll help people from not getting discouraged from using the bins. It'll also make the bins more accessible to all and prevent injury. The ultimate goal is to help make planet Earth more sustainable. Our challenge was to figure out the proper placement for the arm. We first decided to put it on the front, but then quickly realized that wouldn't work because the dump trucks could ruin it. So then we put it on the side. So we called around to different dumpster companies to see what they had to offer, and we could not find any products such like ours. So we emailed WasteQuip, and we also found a few other inventions. So we found this one, which is not very user friendly because you're still having to hold the lid up with one arm and put your recycling in with the other. And then there's also this one, which is not attached to the bin fully, so you'll have to carry it around with you, and you could have a chance of getting it lost. And it's also just not really, practical to have to carry that around with you. So we're gonna show you how the Recycle Buddy works using Rita the Recycler. So Rita the Recycler is taking her recyclables to recycling dumpster, and it's super hard for her to hold the lid up and put her stuff in with the other arm. So she can come on over to the Recycle Buddy, push it down, and then put her stuff in with two arms, and then go on over and close the lid. So the materials that we used for our prototype were Mod Podge, paint, duct tape, cardboard, 2 clothespins, hot glue, printables, an X-Acto knife, scissors, and a paintbrush.
Our goal is to have the Recycle Buddy locked in place because we don't want recycling to be dangerous.
What we want is for the Recycle Buddy to be made out of recycled materials. Obviously, we know that this is not very practical because this is not strong enough material, but we just know that we want it to be made out of recycled materials. And we also found a company called Plastics Are Unique here in Wadsworth, Ohio. And we asked what our quote would be, and they said it was about $2.50 a pound or $10 for our overall Recycle Buddy. So they made like a playground out of milk jugs, a rake out of caps, and a bench out of grocery bags.
Our next step would to market this product at recycling companies such as Waste Clip and Kimball.
We realized throughout the production of this that it doesn't just need to be used for recycling dumpsters. It can also be used for residential garbage cans, which will really help with older folks and the handicapped.
Everyone who tried our prototype loved it, especially Rita the Recycler.
The Recycle Buddy is a simple, inexpensive solution that will help make recycling easier.
Be a buddy to planet Earth and use the Recycle Buddy when recycling. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, if I had a microphone in my hand, I would drop it. Right
Yeah. It's unbelievable.
The research that you girls have done is impressive.
Thank you.
A lot of times kids have ideas and they want to move them further up the innovation line, but they haven't done the deep research. How long did it take you from idea to now to get this going?
I think really it took a while, but it wasn't like too long because after we reached out to different companies to see what they had to offer, it was pretty quick response, and we were able to use their response to really help put together the Recycle Buddy. So it wasn't too long of a wait.
Just awesome.
Who is doing this? Are you both doing it together? Who's doing more work?
We're both doing it together.
Good answer. Good answer there. Yeah. So what do you need next? What is your next step? If Carmine and I could reach into our magic bag of tricks or contacts, what's next for you?
So our next step would probably be to start producing the product and making it out of recycled material and then selling it to dumpster companies like Waste Clip and Kimball.
Wow.
Okay.
Have you guys spoken with any of the dumpster companies or any of the companies that you would want to either license or sell this idea to?
The only one that we've talked to so far was Waste Clip, just about asking and seeing if they had a product like that. So then we knew, okay, well, we can start making this our own, but we haven't reached out quite yet to ask about license.
That's cool. No, that's good. You got to start off slow, just one, and then you get some little bit of research. But what's great about it, right, Daisha, is you guys have done a ton of testing and research on this.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool
So has
stuff.
it been all work and no play? Has this been fun?
Yes, definitely. Very fun.
What's your next project? What's your next idea?
So me and my mom, we were over in Tampa, Florida for a national soccer tournament. And we figured out, we were in a hotel that was a handicapped room, and there was a shower, which is just like a flat floor. So when you're showering, just the water goes all over the ground, and it's just a total complete mess. So I kind of came up with the idea that I thought it'd be really cool for the next invention to be something to help with the showers, to make it more like practical to use a handicapped shower instead of making it a big mess, because it doesn't make sense whatsoever.
Oh, that would be an amazing idea for people. My daughter recently broke her leg, and everything else works. But you know, when you need to get in a shower with a cast on your leg, that is very hard to do. So those are great ideas. And I love that you're creating things intentionally, like you're doing it for a purpose. That's pretty exciting.
Thank you.
Who is your teacher that you want to shout out to?
The teacher that got me started in it was, she wasn't exactly my teacher, but she was the one that kind of running it. It was Mrs. Sheehan at CIS.
And mine was Mrs. Pecknick at Overlook.
Very nice.
Yeah, very cool stuff. Hey, have you guys, I know you've done a lot of research and testing. Have you run into anything out there that is kind of like your product already?
Yeah, so these two, they're not like exactly like it, because some of the things just doesn't make sense about them, but there's this one, and then there's also this one.
Yeah. So those really don't work like yours, though, because it seems like they both kind of get in the way, and one you have to use your hand anyway, or your arm.
Yeah.
That would be me holding it up, and the thing would fall and hit me in the head.
Yeah.
That happens. I mean, that's one of the things that happens. And people that have never experienced these dumpster things, it's so annoying when your hands are all full of stuff and the dumpster top is closed.
Yeah.
And you try to open it, and the thing just hits you in the head, and then you drop all the stuff you were holding anyway.
If I were a shark and I were going to invest in your product, and there were two other recyclable things there, I would have to choose you, because you girls sell this. I mean, your excitement and the way you present yourself. I do hope that you will join our Student Host Challenge, which is a challenge on our website, because we're looking for some guest hosts for July 9th. And just read through the challenge and see if that's something you would be interested in. We hope we get hundreds of applications for this, but you girls have something really special. Your passion comes across in your presentation. So thank you so much for sharing the Recycle Buddy and just your funness. I love it.
That was great. Yeah.
Thank you.
You guys were awesome. Awesome. It's like you didn't even practice. Doesn't even seem like you practiced.
We did have a question come in. They want to know if you've made the track yet, because she wants to get the cans to the end of her really long driveway. So if you come up with that idea, that would be great.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much, Ella and Amelia. If you had one piece of advice for kids that are trying to innovate right now, what would that be?
To believe in yourself.
Great.
Mine would be that no matter like the obstacle that gets in the way, just always keep working really hard and believing in yourself, and don't give up, because you can really overcome anything.
Wow, you should be your own meme. I love that. Love that. Thanks so much.
All right. Well, that was very cool. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Well, Carmine, I know that right now we're getting ready to make a little host change. We're hoping that the host change will happen without the Zoom call dropping. But let me just tell people out there, if you're on YouTube Live and in the next 2 or 3 minutes you lose feed, don't worry, we're jumping right back on. But we're switching host, because Carmine is going to be now riding his bike home, and hopefully we can host with him a little bit, and he's going to have to shut his computer down, but we think we're going to be able to change the host over. So you'll go ahead and do that, Carmine. I'm going to share another commercial, if that's okay. So our next commercial is about virtual reality and how we can use virtual reality to do a little changing of the world.
Dr. Drizzle here. Let's talk virtual reality. We know that virtual reality is important. We can use it in our classrooms and in businesses, but especially now with these stay-at-home orders. Could we use virtual reality to help people located in various parts of our world so that they can interact with each other? I mean, actually touch things from different places? How could people see and hear and taste and touch? Well, I want you to create a VR system that would allow teachers to interact with their students. But I want you to go beyond the normal seeing and hearing, and let's include ways that they can smell, touch, and taste virtually. It could absolutely change the way we look at education. Hashtag Global Innovation Field Trip. Let's do it.
So if we had had that during this little conversation, we could have smelled your garbage, Ella and Amelia. That would have been so cool. All right, Ella and Amelia, again, thank you so much for being here. We are going to let you, I'm going to just change your role. There we go. And Julie Shively, thank you so much for showing up. I need you. Can you unmute yourself, Julie? There you go. Julie, you're back.
I'm back. I've been here the whole time. I've just been hiding. I've been posting to Facebook all of our guests so far. So I'm going to try to keep doing that as you take on the show. But you know, I'll stay on and help anything you want me to do, Dacia.
Well, that is wonderful because I've been working on the Global Innovation Field Trip YouTube channel. So I'm going to have to stop that for just a moment so you can help run that.
Well,
and
you know, and I think the wonderful Jim Bruner from the Past Foundation is still on there and interjecting now and then too, which is wonderful. I think we should hire him for our July event. He can run YouTube. I can run Facebook. And you can rule the world, Dacia.
That would be great. I'm excited about that. So I am going to unmute and ask our Chloe and Adelaide. Let's see, I see. Maybe that's Addie. So there's Chloe. And who is this lovely lady with the black choker?
Hi, friends. I'm Mrs. Tavares, and we are co-presenting today.
Excellent.
Yeah, and we're just waiting for Addie.
All right. Well, we'll wait another minute. Julie, I'll let you change the names for me if you don't mind. So we have Miss Correz. Say your last name again.
Correz.
Correz.
That's Chloe. I thought I saw Addie on here earlier.
I see her.
Oh, can you hear us?
I'm starting the video.
Hi, Addie.
I can hear you, just can't see you.
I'm asking to start your video. Oh, look at this. Here we come.
Yay.
Addie, can you speak for a moment and see if we can hear you?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Thank you so much. So we have a threesome that are going to be presenting about Sporty Stories, a STEM-inspired entrepreneurial venture. Through experiential learning, our grade 4-5 students collaborate in STEM-inspired entrepreneurial ventures. First of all, girls, you're giving me way too many hard words to say all at one time, but I'll try anyway. This student team or company, Sporty Stories, will be sharing why they believe that their product concept will entertain potential customers with their custom stuffies and mini DIY jerseys. Oh my gosh, if you're selling this, I'm buying because I have a grandson. And they also have something called Choose Your Own Adventure Stories that promote stories and play. I am so excited about this. I cannot wait. So whoever's starting first, let's share.
Hi, friends. As elementary teachers, we've been supporting our students at McMurk Junior Public School, continuing to provide distance remote learning experiential experiences, focusing on literacy, numeracy, science, and social studies. We also infuse the Entrepreneurial Adventure Program that is offered by the Learning Partnership nationwide. Our class communities have been immersed in their entrepreneurial journey for over 15 years. And so we've had to make some transitions with the support of the EA program, taking us on this journey during this particular COVID crisis time. With the support of business partners, they help to reinforce the importance of student learners to be risk takers, value the importance of collaboration through critical thinking and solving problems. Students become highly invested in their ventures as they begin to recognize transferable skills from our class and remote learning to world applications. So I have the honor of introducing you to Red Team. Here we go, Sporty Stories.
All right, girls.
My name is Addie, and I'm a manager of Sporty Stories. As one of our managers, I have a lot of responsibilities, like meeting deadlines, keeping our team on track, being supportive, and not just telling my team what they did wrong, but helping them to fix it. Our company has created a mission statement, logo, company name, and a slogan. We researched charities and selected We Movement. We are learning to be young entrepreneurs who are making a difference in the lives of children locally and globally. Our mission statement is, we at Sporty Stories believe in promoting sports and play, and that our customers will be entered our stuffy mini DIY jersey, along with our Choose Your Own Adventure story. All of our proceeds will be donated to We.org to support children in Ecuador by giving access to quality education. We will be spreading awareness about the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child, Article 31. You have the right to play and rest. And global goal number 3, good health and well-being. Our class uses a design thinking process as we move along in our creativity journey. What is a design thinking process? Well, the design thinking process is a way that we think when we build things. We used it with our STEM challenges. We identified the problem, focused on the empathy lens and user needs, as we are supporting children in Ecuador and our student customers. We took part in the Super 8 activity to brainstorm ideas, and then a speed dating game to pitch ideas to our peers before deciding on an idea to move forward. We made iterations to our design and came up with a prototype of our student custom design stuffies that customers can decorate and design their own team jersey. The stuffies will include a tag with a QR code, taking customers to a backstory of our stuffy and learning about the right to play.
Hello, my name is Chloe, and I'm another manager of Red Team Sporty Stories. As manager, some of my roles are being supportive, providing guidance, and being responsible for meeting deadlines. Our company website is created in April site. We received a STEM kit delivered to our home to build a prototype of our product concept based on our blueprints that we designed in Google Drawing. Some of the equipment included junior hacksaw, clamps, mystery box, consumables included Jinx wood, glue, and copper tape LEDs. We are supporting the UN Conventions on the Rights of the Child to shape up our business day growth mindset to help support others in our global community. The UNCRC can change people's mindsets about children, rights, and poverty. Some others can have difficult time understanding that children are equal and have the right to learn new things. We had a 3-step interview to prepare for our job interview. We were set up in groups of 3, one as the interviewer, one as the interviewee, and other as the observer. The interviewer asked questions from the job application that the interviewee completed. The observer was writing down the feedback on how the interviewee was prepared in their responses and their body language during the interview. We rotated and took turns playing each of these roles. This prepared us for a job interview with our learning partnership business partner. Each and every team chose a global goal that their team agreed to focus on. 193 world leaders agreed to 17 global goals for everyone in the world. If by 2030 these goals are accomplished, we can finally agree that we have peace between each and every country within pride and equality. Global Goals 3, health, well-being, providing access to medical care, medicine, and treatment around the world. Life expectancy continues to increase globally, and the fight against some infectious diseases is improving, but with COVID-19, we still need to listen to medical experts and protect ourselves and each other.
Thank you, my friends. All right. So we are in a privileged situation, recognizing that we received a grant to support our students in continuing to build on their designs and their prototypes. And students are always willing to take their venture from ideation to concept design and find alternative ways to meet their goals. And so we are so appreciative that they understand that although they may not be able to create an entire product line at this time, there is still a lot that can be done while practicing physical distancing. Students are recognizing that learning can be both synchronous and asynchronous, which is an even more emphasized thing during this remote learning from our own homes. So I am grateful that they were able here to share today about Sporty Stories.
Girls, I am so impressed. I'm in love with the fact that you had linked these to the UN Global Sustainability Challenges. You are doing something for a purpose. You are not just building a marshmallow tower. However, marshmallow towers are fun, but you are actually doing things that can change the world. And the whole idea of the right to play, everyone needs that right, but way to go. I'm very, very impressed in all that you've done. Where did you get this idea, girls? Like, did a teacher introduce you to someone, or how did that happen?
Well, our teacher, Ms. Tavares, she has helped us create a bunch of new ideas, and she helped us spread our mindset so we can have a better idea of what to do for Business Day. We have Business Day in our school, which is basically we sell products from the UNSCRC, and we sell the products, and all the proceeds will go to we.org to build schools in Ecuador.
Wow. So you have a social justice part of this, that what you're doing is going to help the kids and people that buy these, but then those proceeds are going to help another piece. What a great way to get into the world of innovation and way to share. Addie, what's your favorite thing about this business that you're in?
Well, Business Day has been going a long time in our school. And well, my favorite part of this was when we first got our teams. We first met we first found out who in a team who we were going to be with. And we went and when team color we were going to be, we went and we sat in a circle, and we just started to discuss ideas that we could potentially have.
So collaboration was very important, finding someone. What would have happened, Addie or Chloe, if you had gotten in this group and you didn't like somebody?
We would have to put our disliking aside and think of something that everyone in our team would agree on and enjoy, and think of what the other students in our school might like. And we decided that something like this could really make people want to buy our product and make a lot of profit towards we.org.
So putting aside differences, even if we don't get along with each other, we learn civil discourse. Ms. Correas, way to go, because that comes from their homes and from teachers like you. If you were to encourage other teachers to get involved in this type of real world right now teaching, what would you say to them? Ms. Carreras, did you hear me?
Is it for Taveras or Correas?
You.
Me. Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought you said Correas. I think for me, that's part of the student voice. The students really wanted to continue this within their homes, and we were able to find a way to make that happen for them. And I think for any teacher, we thrive on students' ideas and their willingness and their commitment to learning. And so because they were so open to making these transition and transfer what we were doing in our class community into their homes, that for me, I got fired up. And I encourage teachers to listen to their students and find creative ways and within your means to make things happen.
I totally agree with that. Is there a larger organization that you're working with, or is this just coming straight from the classroom?
So in our class community, we've been doing this for over 15 years. The past 5 years, we've been in partnership with the Learning Partnership, as they have their own packaged program to support educators across the country. And what their programs really offered us is to refine what we're doing and really provide a focused lens to get the most with our time with our students, as well as finding a business partner in the community to help students prioritize ideas and bringing in that world aspect of expertise.
Very nice. I really appreciate the way you're supporting these young ladies. I would say though, except for running the PowerPoint, they were pretty amazing on their own. Is that not great the way they did that? I'm just very impressed with that. Thank you so much for joining us. I can't wait to see what these kids do. And I need the website again so I can order me one of those for my grandson and possibly for me too. So thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, so it looks like we have our next guest here. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Megan Jacobs. Megan is from Connecticut also, so we're going to say she knows Jake. Possibly not, but just I would figure everyone in Connecticut knows him just a little bit. And she is actually an educator from Shepherd Hill Elementary School. She is the Makerspace teacher, which just gives me all the feels right now, because that's a job that I'm sure lots of teachers would love to have. Megan, it looks like you have spearheaded efforts to grow the movement in your surrounding districts also. So way to go of not just sharing the love at your school, but for sharing that with other districts. And then you also have founded a regional Makerspace teacher consortium to help like-minded local professionals cultivate their practice, which again is my passion, bringing educators together because we are all each other's best resources. So Megan, welcome to the Global Innovation Field Trip. We'll turn it over to you now.
Thank you. Thanks so much. It's such a privilege to be here. Thank you for including me. These kiddos that I've been watching on the last few sessions have been really, really inspirational. It's an honor to be a part of this. And you're exactly right. I run the Makerspace at Shepherd Hill Elementary. It's a wonderful program for a K-3 building. I get to see 430 awesome kiddos every week under normal circumstances anyway. And it's really been such a terrific growth opportunity for our school in terms of transforming the way that we embrace iterative learning opportunities and in finding really meaningful ways to convey science content. I'm going to share my screen and dive right into a presentation here so I can show you some good pictures of student work. Let's see, do I have that up there the right way?
Yes, we see it.
Wonderful. So I wanted my presentation today to kind of face teachers or administrators or and anyone in education leadership who's hoping to make the dive in this direction. I find it so helpful to try to get kind of commonly or aligned around some basic tenets of the pedagogical philosophy of why Makerspace can be such a valuable addition to your school or your district. So I've kind of narrowed it down into to 4 of the things that I hold most dear about what makes our program so valuable. And I'm going to take us through each one and show you some good pictures of real student work so that we're kind of aiming for more of a show, don't tell kind of philosophy while I take us through it. And the most important thing for me is that these kids are getting a chance to learn by doing. So much of what we do is tactile, it's kinesthetic and experiential. So not only does that help increase whole body engagement and make sure that our kids are really able to fully embrace what they're learning, but I think it also really helps give kids an opportunity to see the science tenets at work. Some things, concepts that can be harder for them to appreciate if they're just reading it in a book or having kind of more of that 2-dimensional experience. You can see the awesome kiddos on the left. Those are 2nd graders who were doing some good investigation about the properties of water and liquids. And we know the rule that water takes the shape of whatever container it's put into. But we were able to do some investigation that made that so much more real for them. You can see that the boys in the back have a graduated cylinder that they're working with. And so their water, everybody got 100 milliliters and their job was to kind of pour it back and forth between their graduated cylinder and their beaker. And as a side note, I love that these kids are getting a chance to work with real science materials and that 2nd graders know what a beaker is and what a graduated cylinder is. It really kind of made that magic trick come true for them when they saw the water be tall and skinny in the cylinder. And then when it was poured out into the beaker, which is, you know, a much wider vessel, they were much better able to appreciate how the shape of liquids can change to take the form of whatever vessel it might be in. And on the right, we've got some kindergartners who are working with a magic trick of their own. We did some investigation into forces in motion, and they had just learned about kind of a zero-sum force and what happens when there's 2 forces that are working opposite each other and they're of equal strength. And we looked at how we can get the object to stay still. So you can see that they're using a hairdryer to try to counteract gravity and making those balls kind of appear to levitate. And it was such a fun way for them. You can imagine the squeals that come from a group of kindergartners who get to engage in that kind of activity. They really were able to have it be so much more real for them when they could get their hands on it that way. And the next piece I want to speak towards is how terrific it is to have opportunities to be interdisciplinary. I think so often, especially in a traditional classroom environment, teachers might be guilty of being very loyal to kind of artificial silos. If you walk into any elementary classroom, you'll often see that reading is at this time and math is at this time and social studies is taught at this time. And while there's definitely some value to putting aside time in the day for kind of explicit education about something that certainly applies to only one discipline, I feel like it's important to have time in the day to break down those artificial silos and to be sure that we're teaching with a more interconnected lens. I think it helps kids get more excited when they realize that what they're working with can reach into so many different parts of our world. And I think it's so valuable in Makerspace when we get to kind of appreciate and magnify those connections. The sweet 1st grader on the left, the piece that you can't see is that her class just finished reading a book about homes around the world. They learned a lot about the culture and the building materials and kind of what goes into many common structures in different places around the world. And I printed out several pictures of famous structures around the world, and they could pick which one they wanted to work with. And you can see this young lady's recreated the Eiffel Tower out of some colorful dominoes. And it was such a good way for them to get a little glimpse about really interesting places around the world. It kind of whet their appetite for a little bit of global study. And it was such a natural way to kind of help them appreciate not only the science behind the architecture and the engineering and design, but also the cultural element that's so inextricably linked there. The second grader on the right is continuing our study of the properties of water. And for this one, we brought in an artistic piece. I think it's so valuable for the kids to be able to create something visual. We had just learned about surface tension. And in the first surface tension lesson, we focused more on math and on estimation. The kiddos used the dropper that you see that she has and made some guesses about how many water drops would fit into a sheet that I laminated that had different size circles on it. And it was kind of our first investigation into learning that small drops of water can stay still on a piece of paper, and that they can kind of add and glom on and bubble up, and that's a property that water has. So we took it to the next step and introduced some art, and this young lady is painting with surface tension right now. I think I mentioned at the top of my presentation that Makerspace has really transformed iterative learning. So that's when kids have a chance to kind of come up with a design and take a stab and try it out, and then reflect about what was good and what wasn't, and make another one and try again, and make another one and try again. We talk a lot about Edison's famous statement that he hasn't failed, he's simply found 10,000 ways not to make a light bulb. And I think that really resonates with kids, because it looks so much more authentic when we compare it with how real scientists are doing their work in the field. I think so often in a traditional classroom environment, we can feel, we can be guilty of trying to work towards one right answer that's achievable at the end of one 45-minute class period. And I think when we give kids a chance to want to try something and then come back to it and improve, and come back to it and improve, their level of engagement is so high, because it's really a goal that they're invested in. This particular project was with a third grader. We did some work with seismometers, which are the tools that scientists use to measure and record earthquakes. So we looked at a couple of pictures and diagrams of real life seismometers, and we watched a video of a middle school kiddo who had made his own, but I deliberately did not give the kiddos a step-by-step list of instructions, or even make too many rules about what materials they could use. So I wanted to try to give them quite a bit of creativity and freedom and kind of room to make their own kind of attempts, and then be reflective in a productive way, and come back and fix it up. So we did it over 3 or 4 weeks, and the kids were really able to first get it to a place where it worked. A partner pair would have one kiddo kind of banging on the box to simulate the earthquake, and then another partner would pull through that blank white piece that you see, and kind of record their simulated earthquake movements. So the first goal was kind of get it to a place where you can see that it records the earthquake movement. And then the second goal, which I found even more rewarding for them, was to improve it, was to see if yours was sensitive enough to notice the difference between large motion and small motion. And I think we can see their excitement and enthusiasm. If you can read their words on the bottom, they said, "We did it." So I love it when kiddo enthusiasm comes across like that. And the last tenet that I want to speak to today is about how important student choice is to kids having the opportunity to do some of their own making and building. On the left, the kindergartners are continuing their investigation into forces in motion. And we've just learned about vectors, so how strength can have both a kind of, or how force rather can have a strength and a direction. So they designed their own golf courses. They get to choose what materials they wanted to work with and kind of design how it would be run. You can see the group in the back left corner has decided to combine materials so that they can take advantage of the tight corners of the Jenga blocks and the protective borders of the jumbo blocks. So we really try to incorporate student choice wherever we can. And I think that comes across with really allowing kids to have their work be an expression of themselves. And to the right is a design that a kindergartner has come up with for an experiment to test the effects of sunlight. At the very beginning of the year, we tackled that NGSS standard where we prove that sunlight makes things warmer. And we do one all together as a class just to kind of scaffold. But then this is Daniel's idea. He got to design his own experiment entirely himself. If you can read his words, I will test if it's warmer in the sun or in the shade under the slide. And he's got some great illustrations there to back up his work. So I want to end with a couple QR codes just so that I can give you some resources that might be valuable to you. The one on the left will help you to access a Google Drive that has several documents that might help get your Makerspace up and running. It also links to this presentation in case that might be helpful for you. And then on the right, there is a quick 2-question survey. I'd love your feedback about this session. I hope it's been meaningful for you. My email is there on the bottom too. I'd love to reach out and connect. As was mentioned in the beginning, I have started a teacher consortium so that others in this position can kind of network and learn from each other. And if that's something that you'd like to be involved in, I'd love to include you.
Wow, thank you so much, Megan. That's a lot of information. And thank you for being so gracious to share your ideas with people that are possibly interested in starting this up. If you will, there you go. I just got a couple things. Tim Hotchkiss just talked on YouTube Live saying one of the joys of being a teacher is working with wonderful and innovative teachers like Megan. So way to go there. And then I also got a text message from Twitter. There's a young man that is on the Mythbusters, and he is asking for you to please do a video of that seismograph working. He and his name is Elijah. He'll be on later tonight. He and about 40 other kids are creating stay and play videos on Twitter and Instagram, and they'd love to see that video. So thank you so much.
Wonderful.
Well, we are right on time, which is absolutely wonderful. We have our next inventors coming up from Canada, and I see Malik so far. So Malik, I'm going to unmute you. And Malik, are we waiting for someone else?
We are waiting for Eva.
Okay.
Partner for Business Day.
Okay. Excellent. Well, sometimes girls are just late. You just have to get used to that. That's just the way we are. But while we're waiting, if you'll just hang there, I'm going to do another commercial for our STEM careers.
Okay.
This is called Flood Proof Home Design.
All right, so Malik, we may want you to try to solve that problem after you tell us about yours. So Malik, it looks like we're still waiting for Eva, but I'm going to go ahead and start and let you go. And let me introduce you first. So this is Malik, and he is from Canada. And Malik, are you in 4th or 5th grade?
I'm in 4th.
Right. So you are your presentation is called Bright Thinkers, which means you are another entrepreneur. Now, I've got people already on YouTube. Yeah, that's my problem. Okay, I did that. So I just found out that my headphones are on and you couldn't hear my video. So isn't that a little crazy? But I got it now. All right, so Malik, why don't you start talking about your project, and if Eva is on, we will let her come on.
Okay. Hello, my name is Malik, and I am a finance member of the Bright Thinkers company. My job is to analyze the survey, handle and track the finances, count the money, and making sure we Bright Thinkers have the right amount to donate to the Read movement so we can help kids in Ecuador to access education too. We received a STEM kit delivered to our home to build a prototype of our product concept based on our blueprints that we designed in Google Drawing. Some of the equipment including a junior hacksaw, clamps, and a miniature box. Consumables including jinx wood, glue, copper tape, and LEDs. That's what we made, a product. We are supporting the UN Convention on the Rights of a Child to shape up our business day growth mindset to support others in our global community. The UNCRC can change people's mindset about children's rights and poverty. Others can have a difficult time understanding that children are equal to all and have the right to learn new things. This includes protecting their identity, faith, and cultural customs. Each and every team chose a global goal that their team agreed to focus on. 193 global leaders to 17 global goals for everyone in the world. If by 2030 these goals are accomplished, we can finally agree that we have peace between each and every country within pride and equality. A lot of people are living in places with little access to light and can't afford things like lamps or even electricity. Goal 7 exists to make more people to have access to clean energy. The impact of Goal 7 could eventually reduce light poverty, and it could also help the environment. The way we use and produce energy is unsustainable and contributing to climate change. Is a threat to our survival. So by creating new energy solutions, we can stop climate change. We were set up in groups of 3. One as the interviewer, one as the interviewee, and another as the observer. The interviewer asked questions from the job application that the interviewee completed. The observer was writing down feedback on the interviewee, was prepared in their responses and their body language during the interview. We rotated and took turns being in each of these roles. This prepared us for a job interview with our learning partnership and business partner. Thank you.
Wow. So who have you teamed up with to do this? Tell us a little bit about Eva.
Eva, she's my classmate, and we're in the same blue team. And this is our shirt and our company logo.
Nice.
And I don't know, yeah. So basically, when we were writing our script, basically Eva helped me a lot, and it's like a win-win. So me and Eva helped each other, like in a sense. And then after we done basically a script, Miss Tafaris, our teacher, just cleaned everything up and make it look nice. And this is my script now.
Wow.
Very good. Jake, why don't you jump in here? You've met these guys before.
Well, no. I haven't. What I have done is met some of their teachers, and their teachers spent a lot of time bragging about them, and I can see that they weren't brags; they were the truth. But Malik, I have a question for you. In school, there are some things that you really enjoy. What is your favorite class and why?
My favorite class is probably, can it be any class?
It's your answer.
It realistically, probably, can we include gym class?
And Malik, I have a question. Who is that magic hand that keeps appearing and taking things away?
My mother.
Would your mother like to share some of your glory?
Sorry, sir?
Would you like to be on the video?
Oh, Malik told me to stay to the sidelines. So I'm quite proud and I feel really proud that he got to be a part of this. And listening onto the video when we logged in, this is just truly, it's so amazing. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Malik, I want to tell you something, that whatever you do in life, she's going to take credit for.
For sure.
You might as well get used to that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you so much, Malik. We're really proud of you. I can't wait to see what happens in a couple years. We're going to be seeing your face on commercials. People are going to be interviewing you for all the amazing work that you're doing. I'm not sure if I asked you this, but do you have a teacher you'd like to shout out to?
Yes. No, your teacher.
My teacher.
Say her name.
What's her name?
She just guided me to do this whole journey, and she's just the best teacher.
I logged in with the
If she
gift
wanted to
webinar
drive, she
account.
literally drive over. She literally drove across. She literally drove like a half an hour to literally drop off materials so I can build this.
Nice.
She's just the greatest
And
teacher.
when you were having trouble, she came to help you.
And when I was having trouble, she called or she came to help me. Whatever. She's just the best teacher.
Very nice. Jake, if you don't mind, if you can make me the host again.
Oh.
Hey.
You're taking away my glory here. I need
Let's see. I either make you the host or disconnect you. Let's see what happens.
let's make me the host. I would really appreciate that.
It's a coup d'etat. I've been overthrown.
You have. Thank you so much.
No, Julie's the host.
Well, that's because it's her website. We're good.
Okay.
I think I'm the host now. All right. So I'm going to share my screen again. Again, Malik, thank you so much for coming today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Very, very good. I'm going to share my screen again. And Julie, if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and do some work on that side of getting people on and off. I am getting out of my text. I want to try this video again, but this time I'd like to have the sound on. So Jake, if you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up when you hear the sound.
Okay.
Excellent.
Hey everyone, this is Dr. Drizzle, and today's STEM challenge is talking about home flooding. We know that there are different types of floods that occur from different water sources. Some floods occur naturally, and that's good because it creates fertile farmland. But with the increase of people living in these flood areas, we could have some disasters. Think about hurricanes and tsunamis. So flooding due to climate change can also have a devastating effect on people's lives. How can we help communities be better prepared for flooding? Your challenge is to design a home able to withstand the effects of flooding. Make a model of your design so you can test it, and then send us a 30-second video describing what you have created and how it solves that problem. Don't forget to tag us at #GlobalInnovationFieldTrip. Thanks so much.
All right, sorry about that. We're having a few technical difficulties on this side, but we're gonna fix that pretty soon. And again, thank you so much, Malik, for coming. And we're
thank you for this opportunity.
We're gonna let you go ahead and end your camera. If you
Okay.
don't mind. All right, so
Julie, can you ask, there are some people who are watching, but they're all listed as Jake Mendelson. Can you ask them to change their names to their real name?
yes, we're
Well,
going
I think you just did that.
You just did, because you're
Oh.
live right now, Jake. You are live to the world. Everyone's hearing all of our little secrets. So we are waiting now for our next panelist, and that is going to be our friend Ricardo from Mexico. So while we're waiting for him, let me share the screen one more time, and I'm going to ask everybody that's online if you will mute yourself. Actually, let me move here for just a moment. This is our website, the Global Innovation Field Trip. And on this website, we have a lot of information for this event and also for our next event, which will be on July the 9th. If you were to click or scroll down just a little bit, we have 2 journals that you can download, students, if you want to take notes while you're watching this. You have a journal to talk about who the speaker is, where they're located in the world, some highlights of their talks, and also the social media, if they were to give you that. We would love for you to download those.
And
Those
let
are
them stay
absolutely free. We have a couple more things that you can check out. One is the Global Innovation Field Trip Challenges. And we're going to take a quick 2-minute non-talking break so we can switch over our host. So I'm going to ask all of my hosts if you will just chat on the text messages for just a moment, and we will come back to everybody in just about 2 minutes. Again, thank you so much. 2 minutes.
Well, I don't know if people can hear me or not, but what happens is when you log on, the system automatically signs you on as Jake Mendelson. We cannot turn on your video and promote you because we don't know who you actually are. So please change yourselves to, or change your name to your correct name so we know who we're actually talking to. If you go down the screen, Daisha, you're muted. Nobody can hear you. If you go down, you can see at where it says participants, you can find all kinds of Mendelsons under attendees and change your name so we know who you are.
And as soon as you do that, we will promote you to a panelist. So we're waiting on that.
Or come in on the link that you were given as a panelist.
Yeah. Ricardo, I think, is here, but I don't know which Jake Mendelson he is.
And again, this is live TV. So we're having a few problems here. but we are going to fix this pretty soon. Carmine, you're here. If you wouldn't mind changing your name, that would be great. Carmine, so how was your ride?
It was tiring. It was tiring, but I'm back. Sorry, it took me a little longer than I thought it was going to, but I am here and we're ready to go.
Well, we are. So Carmine, what I'd like for you to do, if you don't mind, is to queue up the Joe Lennox video. If you can download that one real quickly, or if that's on your desktop.
Sure.
We may have to, okay, here he is. He is here. I see him saying that this is who he is. So I cannot promote. Let's see, I'm gonna just try this. Let's see if that person is him. Jake, Mr. Ricardo, is that you?
Everybody's muted, Dacia.
Yeah, turn on his.
I'm unmuting him now.
Okay.
We're Jasper Holland. Sorry, we are presenting, but not right now.
Jake, will you let me know? Okay, Jake. Okay, so we'll hang on to you. Is Mr. Ricardo on the line?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I'm going to promote you to a panelist, and let's see if you come up here. Let's see, let's see if I can get you. I may be getting the other person too. We'll move you down if you're not, but we should have. Apologizing again.
See if you can start your video, whoever the next presenter is. Here it is.
So this is not. So we're gonna change her back. And let's see if this person is the right one. All right, Mr. Ricardo, can you talk one more time so we can find you?
Yeah, hello.
Hello. Which one are you?
He's the one that's not muted.
Okay, so let me see if I can get you. I am enjoying this Zoom thing so much. This is exciting.
We're going to be experts when this is all over.
So, Mr. Ricardo, I think I may have you.
Yeah.
There it is.
Oh, yes. We are so glad you're here. Thank you for that. And I'm going to change your name because I'm not sure about you, but I wouldn't want to be fake.
Be careful what you say.
So I have renamed you, and we are back online. And again, I apologize for the technical difficulties. I'm going to blame it on Jake because I have no one else to. But you are Ricardo Mendoza, and you are studying mechatronic engineering. Oh my goodness, so smart. I'm going to.
That's the same thing that Jake took.
Yeah, and you're currently on your 8th semester of your major, which means you're in it pretty deep. I don't want you changing now. I'm going to take my friend Mimi out just for a few minutes. You are a young entrepreneur soul who pushes people to invent things. And you're very optimistic and you're a good worker. And I am thrilled to hear what you are going to talk about today.
Thank you for that introduction. So I'm gonna share my screen. I don't know.
Perfect.
Would you please tell me if you see my presentation?
I do. It looks great.
Okay, so, well, I'm really excited to be here because I see a lot of inventors and a lot of talent here. So I'm here to give you some advice on how to innovate. So my name is Ricardo Mendoza. I'm 21 years old. I'm studying the 8th semester of Mechatronics Engineering at Tecnológico de Monterrey. So as you know, I almost finished my major. So that's why I'm here, because I want to share with you some steps in the innovation process. In all my life, I have had some ideas for new products, but however, I usually never know how to start. You know, it's difficult at the beginning. But after this method, same as me, you will have some structure that you can follow for taking an idea inside your mind and put into the market. So the Nobel Prize in Physiology, Dr. Albert Zen, once said that innovation is seeing what everybody has seen and thinking what nobody has thought. So I'm going to present a model. This process is based on the method proposed by Ulrich and Eppinger in their book, Product Design and Development. So when you want to develop a product, first you have to understand customer needs. This is one of the most important tools in this method because your idea has to meet perfectly with the client's need. So let's start with the tool number one. The tool number one has 5 steps that you can follow to understanding the customer needs. In the first steps, you have to get the raw data. You can do this by interviewing, making focus group, and be the client, of course. In the second step, you have to interpret that raw data by expressing the need as an attribute of the product. In the step number 3, you can organize the needs in a hierarchy. So that what it means is that you have to organize needs in primary and secondary. It's really important that you have not think about importance. So in the number 4, you have to establish the relative importance of needs and give value from 1 to 5, where 5 is the more important need in that your client says. Finally, you have to conclude on the results by comparing if the results have similarities with your previous knowledge. So once you understanding the customer needs, you have to define the specifications of your product. You can do this with a quality function deployment tool that is called the house of quality. You have to fulfill all the things that you already have and put the new things that you are going to research for. So in the number 1, you have to put the customer needs that you already in the previous step you have. In the number 2, you have to put the relative importance of need. And in the number 3, you have to define the technical specification of your product. You have to agree with your development team and put what you think that are going to solve the needs for the client. Then in the number 4, you have to put the correlations between the customer needs and the technical specifications. These correlations has to be low, medium, or high. Then in the number 5, you have to put the acceptable metrics or boundaries that your development team agree with you. In the number 6, you have to put the correlations between the technical specifications. And finally, you have to compare your product with the competition. This is really important because you have to know what your competition are doing with another product. So let's start with the number 3. Once you have the specifications and understanding the customer needs, you have to generate concepts for your product. You can do this first by clarify the problem. You can do a diagram function block. With this diagram function block, you can understand how your product will work exactly, how the interaction with the user will be, and how the parts that your product will have. So you can, after you did your diagram function block, you can go ahead to the morphological matrix. This matrix is proposed options for solving the things that you already put in the diagram function block. At the end of this process, you will have like a lot of options of different things that make a concept for your product. Then you can go to the product architecture. The product architecture is basically an approximate geometry, so you can imagine how your product will be. First, you have to product outline, how the product will work. This you already did with the diagram function block. So the next step is to group the diagram elements by geometric integration and precision. Finally, the result of this process, you can go and make an approximate geometry with drawings, computer models, and physical models. So you can see how all the parts in your product will be. Then you have to select the concept because you generate, let's say, 5 concepts, but you have to select the better one. And for this, you can follow 5 steps that are really easy. First, you have to create the selection matrix. Then you have to put all the concepts evaluation. It means that you have to put all the things that you want to compare between your concepts. Then in the number 3, you have to sort the concepts. Then number 4, combine and upgrade the concepts. And finally, select 1 or more concepts. This method is really explained in the book Product Design and Development that I already said. So if you want more information about this, you could go to this book. Then you have to make a proof of concept. That means that the concept that you already selected, you have to know how it fits with the client's need. First, you have to propose the proof. What is the purpose of the proof? It means you have to select what are you going to have with this information. What are you expecting to have? Then in the second one, you have to choose your sampling survey. That means you can go ahead and interview a group of people that is a bigger one or a smaller one. Then you have to select a type of survey. That means you can go interview, surveys, telephone call, whatever you want that helps you. Then you have to share the concept, measure the customer response, and conclude about the results. Then you can go to the prototyping. The prototyping is really important because it's an approach to the product in one or more dimensions of interest. Prototypes save a lot of money and make easier other steps of development. We are almost in the end. So after you prototype your product that you already selected, you can go to the robust design. The robust design means that the product works under non-ideal conditions. For doing this, you can follow 5 steps that are really easy. First, you have to identify your control factors, noise factor, and performance metrics. Then you have to formulate an objective function. In the step number 3, you have to develop the experimental plan. In the step number 4, run the experiment. And finally, you can carry out analysis and select reference points. You can repeat this process if necessary. Finally, we are almost to put our product into the market. So this end tool is the design, manufacturing, and assembly. This tool save a lot of money for your company and I'll save a lot of money for you, because you first have to follow 5 steps. Estimate the manufacturing cost, and then you have to reduce to step number 2 to step number 4, reduce the cost from assembly, components, and support. And then you have to consider the impact of your previous decision. I don't have like enough time to explain one step by itself, but you can go to the book that I already mentioned. So that's what my presentation. If you have any questions, please go ahead. You can find me on my 2 emails, so be free to do that. That's the book.
Ricardo, thank you so much. And I'm going to ask you to please stay in as a mechatronic engineer in school. You are doing exactly the right thing. So you've got 8 semesters in. How much longer do you have for school?
I will finish my major in 1 semester.
In 30 seconds, what is your next step when you graduate? What are you going to do?
I would like to make a master degree because that's one of my biggest dreams. But I want to make it in another country, not in Mexico, because I want to have like all the knowledge that other countries have and then bring it back to Mexico and helps my country.
All right. Well, you've already won my heart by saying that. I love the way young people are wanting to change the world where they are. So thank you so much for coming today. I really appreciate it. I do apologize for not getting you in quickly enough. We're still learning this whole Zoom thing. Since you're doing mechatronics, why don't you also work on maybe getting this a little bit better for us so our next time here.
I will do it. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great job, Ricardo.
Thank you.
Awesome, right, Dacia?
Really, really good stuff. I want to thank our people on YouTube. You're being very respectful, and you're being kind, and you're saying nice things even when our technology was not working very well. We really appreciate that. Even when I had to walk into the bathroom and do a desperate text saying, help me now, I can't get it to work, you all did. So I really, really appreciate that. Thanks for coming back, Carmine. Just to let you know, you are not allowed to leave again while we're co-hosting together. I had a little worry there, and I don't want you to do that ever again. So.
I will never leave again, never leave you.
Never leave me again. So we are getting ready for our next student share. We have a couple people, Mimi and Jasper and Cowie. So we are going to ask them to start their video, and I just have one of them ready to go. I just asked her to do it. Let's see if she's on. And then we're also looking for 2 other people. Let's see, there we go. We have one person, and we're still looking for Mimi and Jasper. And it looks like they're in the wrong.
I'm here.
I
Yay.
see you, but you're not.
Start up your video.
We don't know how to change our name. We don't have.
So Jasper, turn on your video.
We don't have that option here.
To turn on your camera?
No.
Okay.
Okay, it looks like they're in the attendee and not in the panelist.
So I'm gonna promote you 2 panelists right now.
Yeah.
And Mimi, if you're here, can you turn on your camera, please?
All right.
Okay. Now we can.
Yay!
Awesome. Now, Jasper, click on the name on your window that says Jake Mendelson. You click on it.
Yeah,
it'll let you rename it.
Change it. Yeah.
Now, are we still looking for one more person?
Mimi, if you're here, can you turn on your camera, please?
Mimi, if you're here, can you talk?
Let me unmute her.
It sounds like you're doing a seance.
I know. Listen. I don't see Mimi.
Mimi was here. I just don't know if she's one of these Jake Mendelsons.
That's funny.
Okay, so we lost Jasper again.
Jasper's here.
Get him back on the video. So why don't we go ahead and start? And if we get
okay, Mimi, click on the name Jack Mendelson and rename it to yours.
And here comes Jasper. Jasper, I'm letting you. There you go.
Stay on, Jasper. We're good.
Don't move. Don't go anywhere, buddy.
Thank you so much, friends. All right, we're ready to get started. If you are.
Yes. So we would like to introduce to you Jasper and Mimi, and say that last name.
Zelia Capitan Tavares.
Okay, I'm gonna let you do that one in just a moment then. So this is called Buzz On, a STEM inspired entrepreneurial venture. And I'm gonna let them talk about it, but I think with the word buzz, I'm feeling a little bees and honey coming our way.
Well, I have the honor of working with this team that's here. And if Eva's on the call, when you have the opportunity, feel free to unmute your mic and turn on your camera, because we lost Eva due to some technical difficulties a little earlier. And I just want her to have a moment just to say hello.
Sure.
But we'll start. So as elementary teachers, we have been supporting our students at McMurk Junior Public School by providing distance remote experiential learning experiences, focusing on literacy, numeracy, science, and social studies, while infusing the entrepreneurial adventure program hosted by the Learning Partnership. Our class communities have been immersed in their entrepreneurial journey for over 15 years. The EA program has been a part of our journey for the past 5 years, and with their support, our business partners reinforce the importance of our student learners to be risk takers, value the importance of collaboration, and critical thinking through problem solving. Students become highly invested in their ventures as they begin to recognize transferable skills from our class learning and their world applications. Now, before I have this honor of introducing the green team, I just want to acknowledge that Eva is here, and Eva was the co-presenter with Malik, and she wanted to just say hello, and we couldn't get her in due to technical difficulties. So Eva, why don't you just show us quickly your prototype so we can move on to green team.
Okay. This
Very
is
fragile.
the prototype of the wooden lamps that we made with the LED lights right here. It's like student made, and basically like glued everything, and then it's just like with jinx wood and all that stuff with copper tape and LED light right here. And we made these because of like to show like about stuff for like um and we also had like the scratch game basically, and yeah, and we have these lamps that we made, and yeah.
And so, Eva, Malik did you justice and gave you a shout out, and we apologize for the technical difficulties. And I'm just so glad that you stayed on, and I'm grateful to you and your time and your commitment to sharing with all of us. Thank you, Eva.
Bye.
All right, so I have the honor of introducing Green Team, and here we have Mimi and Jasper. All yours, Mimi.
Hello, my name is Mimi Gunning, and I'm a manager of Buzz on Inc. As one of our managers, some of my roles are to keep our team on track, being supportive, and providing guidance to meet the timeline/deadlines. Our company has created a mission statement, company name, and slogan completed, along with some research on the charity we movement. We are also learning to be young entrepreneurs who are making a difference in the lives of children locally and globally. At Buzz on Inc., we believe customers will have a fantastic, unforgettable experience by purchasing our honey, soap, and plantable bookmarks that tell a story while doing their part in saving bees. All of the proceeds will be donated to We.org, Pillar of Education for Children Living in Ecuador. We will also be spreading awareness about the importance of the UN Conventions on the Rights of a Child, Article 27, which states, "You have the right to food, clothing, a safe place to live, and your basic needs met. You should not be disadvantaged so that you can't do many of the things."
Hey, we lost sound. Do you guys have sound?
We don't.
No, we do.
We just lost some sound from Mimi.
Yeah,
Mimi, we can't hear
Hey,
you.
Mimi, if you can hear me, we lost sound. Go ahead, Jasper.
So Jasper, we'll come back to Mimi. And why don't you introduce yourself?
Okay, my name is Jasper, and I am one of the managers at BuzzOn. As one of our managers, some of my roles are to keep our team on track, being supportive and providing guidance. I am also responsible for meeting timelines and deadlines. So our company website is creating a Google site. We received a STEM kit delivered to our home to build a prototype of our product concept based on our blueprints that we designed in Google Drawing. The STEM kit was full of equipment including a junior hacksaw, glue, jinxwood, copper tape, LEDs, and a C-clamp. We are supporting the UN Convention on the Rights of a Child to shape up our business day growth mindset to support others in our global community. The UNCRC can change people's mindsets about children's rights and poverty. Some others can have a difficult time understanding that children are equal to all and have the right to learn new things. We were set up in groups of 3. One as the interviewer, one as the interviewee, and another as the observer. The interviewer asked questions from the job application that the interviewee completed. The observer was writing down feedback on how the interviewee was prepared in their responses and their body language during the interview. We rotated and took turns being in each of these roles. This prepared us for a job interview with our learning partnership business partner. Each and every team chose a global goal that their team agreed to focus on. 193 world leaders agreed to 17 global goals for everybody in the world. If by 2030 these goals are accomplished, we can finally agree that we can have peace between each and every country within Pride and